that issue happen, right? So let's go over here.
Yeah, because my I ended up getting a new mic, and it has like one of those settings in the back where you can change the boost on it. So it's like, all right, let me flip this over because I probably need it for Discord, but in OBS I have it like hyper tuned.
Yeah. So
video is back.
Video is back. Okay. So let me know if it's lagging now still. That is super weird. We have never had that issue. It still looks like I'm frozen on YouTube. Even I can see it on YouTube that it's like it's not moving. Okay, there it goes. Now it's moving. No, it's working now. All right, cool. I just need to restart the actual stream. Now, the only thing left to do is
it's gonna be me. I'm gonna break everything.
Now I just gotta figure out, we gotta pop this out. And if I do that, and then we hit this, and you can see Cosmic now, right? And is it lagging? Are we good? All right. All right, it's good.
Yeah, it looks good.
All right, good. All right, there we go. We figured it out. Technology.
Technologica.
Yeah.
Technologia.
All right, we're good. Okay, cool. Twitch says we're good. All right, we're back. All right, I'm getting the all good on everything. Oh man, it wouldn't be a new season release without some problems, right? Yo, what's going on, Beard? Ross de la Origine. So Genesis, I was actually showing before while we are doing like our setup for this whole thing with Cause. I was showing him Epic 7, the current state of Epic 7. I was like, look, it's a Genesis Roz simulator. Everybody just plays them every game. That's Roz de la Origine is how you, I think, say it in French. I think it's French. Cosmic's volume is low. I turned him way up.
Yeah, we should be good now. Now that the I put the boost on, you turned me up. So again, apologize if I'm gonna be a little too loud now, but we are here, and hopefully everything sounds fine.
Yeah, I think I got it. Like it looked like, I think we're good there. It looks like I've got the mic kind of adjusted right. It should be a better spread now, right? So yeah, what games does Cosmic play? So you can let them know again for those of you guys who missed the intro during the technical difficulties.
We will simply do it again. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. My name is Cosmic, and thank you to Stu for having me on for this cast. But I create infographics, and I cover Chaos Zero Nightmare. I've been playing Enfield a little bit as well, just kind of on the side. The factory must grow. But we've been having a lot of fun with it. So I am coming from a TCG background. I spent 11 years creating content for trading card games. I do a lot for Bandai currently. I am the main caster for a card game called Union Arena. I will be going to Bandai Card Fest in a week and a half for our national/world celebration, all that good stuff. But I've done a lot. But today, of course, season 2. Yeah, Izzy has it on his desk. We will be here and being excited for season 2 again, talking about all things Chaos Zero Nightmare.
Yeah, the factor was cool. Yeah, no, like I've said this before earlier, but I've known of Cosmic and he's known of me for about like a decade now. We've always been one degree of separation. Like I played Forza Well when he covered Forza Well. I played Final Fantasy when he covered Final Fantasy. I played Bandai games when he has done Bandai games. But we've never really collaborated on anything.
Grow.
Hey, thank you, Kefnet, for the 15 months. The factory must grow. This is like, I guess, a meme for Enfield.
Yes.
You guys already know. I tried Enfield. I got to the factory stuff and my eyes just glazed over. I was like, nah, this is not it. Like chat was like having to like teach me this stuff. They're like, yo, this might not be your game, bro. And I'm like, I don't think it is. I do think it's a good game though. All right, so we do have a list of like talking points we did want to get to. So let's talk about, before we go in and dive into season 2 proper, we'll start with you, Cosmic, the highs and lows of season 1. Like, what did you really enjoy about season 1 and what did you absolutely loathe about season 1? And I guess also you could say the preseason by extension for this one.
Yeah, I think kind of preseason just jumbles into it, right? Because a lot of it, I think, is going to come back to just the overall Chaos experience and going through the game itself and making sure that we were able to like save our decks and all that good stuff. So I will just say up front, in terms of least favorite thing, and thankfully a lot of it's been fixed in season 2, is just the overall deck refining experience was absolutely awful. Like I was king resetter, as many people know, of like, cool, we didn't get the epiphany we want on like tile 5 in our run. Time to reset and get out. Oh, we got the wrong card to copy off the first boss. Time to get out. And like, it just created a pretty feels bad loop overall. But what I will say is just from an overall I really love the idea of how the Chaos War set up and having these different worlds and each one feeling unique and having different gear sets. And what I'd love to see more of that going forward, of just giving us more reasons to go back into some of these older Chaos. And it was just really cool to explore that for the first time and learn all the different events and like the hidden mechanics of the game. Like there was just so much to explore in this game that I truly loved early on, that it kept me engaged. And soon it was as Sue and I were talking about this kind of before we started, right? I'm now in the spot with Enfield where it's like it was a really good experience. You know, I'm like legitimately over 100 hours in Enfield. Like I've played way too much. But now that we're at the end game, it's kind of like, well, all right, there's an update in 2 weeks, I guess, that'll last me like an hour, right? The biggest free thing for me with Chaos Zero Nightmare, and again, I've played other gotchas in the past, but there is just so much love and thoughtfulness that goes into the deck building process, which was not perfect at all. Let's be fair. That's why we have all these updates for season 2. But there was always like, oh, I want to go get this deck for this, combatant, right? Like, oh, I can get this one divine and then try this new build that this is going to unlock. Like that aspect of Chaos Zero Nightmare to me is what keeps me playing and gets me excited, because the deck building part is just so good.
Yeah. I have basically the same highs as you. I think the deck building aspect is just super addictive in this game. I have people who would come into my streams over the last like week and a half or so, and people would say to me, "Why are you playing the game? Like the decks are going to be moot in like a week and a half. They're not going to work for season 2." I'm like, "Can I just play the game to enjoy it?" I think the game is just super fun, and I just love tinkering with the different combinations of characters. Even if I fail, it's a learning experience. It always feels super good. And then the trauma codes, even though they're not necessarily tied to season 1, that was the standout piece of content for me, aside from chaos runs in season 1. Just the character writing is so good. I got super attached to all the characters. It made me really appreciate a character like Luke, who I kind of had a passing interest in. I'm not usually the edgelord type of a character, but that story really made me appreciate that character and want to dedicate a lot more time to that character. And later on tonight, when we pull for 9, Luke is going to be probably one of the first characters I actually test out with her, because we'll talk about 9 and her kit and some of her epiphanies. I think they synergize well with that character. So those are like the highlights for me from season 1, from the first like 3 months or so with the game. But the low points, man, it's got to be number 1 has to be what you said, Cosmic. It's the deck building experience, like to get it exactly right, is just really rough. Like as card game players, we are trying to reduce variance. We're trying to min max it, get either the most optimal, like strongest deck, or just get like a quirky idea to work. And nothing feels worse than being like, all right, the last 20 minutes I just did is all wasted because I rolled the wrong set of epiphanies, or I didn't see the dupe I needed on the boss, or I didn't hit the copy event. And that is definitely like, that's got to be like the major low point. And then other than that, Great Rift. You guys know from Epic 7. You guys know from Epic 7, I despise Hall of Trials. I literally feel like it's essentially a ladder that promotes whaling for the current gacha character. So it's like, oh, it's the Serenial patch. Gotta play Serenial. The people who played who rolled the most copies of Serenial off the gacha, they're the ones that are gonna get the highest score. Like obviously, yes, there's some skill involved in it. Yes, you have to have the right deck, but at the end of the day, the creativity just really, I feel like, isn't there for that game mode, and I didn't like it in E7, and I'm surprised that it's actually coming back in season 2. My hope, fingers crossed, is that they will actually change something with it, that it won't just be a rehash of, this is the Great Rift where you need to play 9, or whatever character comes next after 9, right?
Yeah, and I think that's a very good point to bring up, and I've put it into the vault, so to say, and like tried to forget about it, because with the towers, right, we do have the preview that there's going to be some type of showcase where every character in the game that clears it, you'll be able to look at their save data and get to say like, oh, here is the strategy that they used for this Luke, or here's a strategy that they used for this Magna, right? And you'll be able to copy those synergies that if you want to, and if you're able to get the save data, of course. But I really need them to implement that into the Great Rift as well, because I get early on, it was just a top 100 thing. You got to do what you got to do. But to Sue's point, right? Like, yeah, the top 100, of course, is just going to be whoever the hell the new character is, because that's obviously what they're trying to buff. But there's so much more value in getting more people to play your game if you take a step back and be like, okay, top 100, let them have their shiny thing, bro, whatever, it's fine. But then also build out a case of like, hey, here's these like off meta character combinations. Like, now, sure, I can make the counter, playing my own devil's advocate. You would say like, oh, but then it decentivizes people from pulling on the newest character and they're a gotcha, they got to make money, whatever. But I feel like it won't hurt that much, right? You want more people playing your game, and I think that's a great way to celebrate the community and everyone having their own favorite characters and getting to experience the Great Rift how they want to.
Yeah, I agree, because like basically for at least the last season, if you didn't have Serenia, you weren't really cracking top 50%. You needed basically to crack top 10%. You absolutely had to be playing Serenial, Selena, Cassius. There was just no way around it. So it's just a prerequisite. And I get it. It's meant to be the competitive mode. It's just kind of a buzzkill, at least to me, that it's just so streamlined to that point, right? Yeah. All right, so I guess the next order of business here, let me move Cosmic over here. I'm sorry, like we're doing this kind of like, we're kind of just doing this like by the seat of our pants here. So I'm doing, we're going to go through now and kind of walk through everything that's in the patch and give our thoughts on it. You guys may have watched my video, so you know most of my thoughts on it, but I don't think necessarily Cosmic knows my thoughts on things. And I certainly don't know what Cosmic's thoughts are on everything. So I figured this would be a good way, considering we've got like, what, 2 hours to go, give or take, until the game actually comes back up. So yeah, let's go for it. Do we think they will sell the Flash of Potential? We'll get to that when we get to it, Vocax. Short answer, yes. It's SG. I feel like they're gonna put it in like a $9 pack or something at some point, right? Right? It'll be like a flash sale. All right, so Season 2 update will be here in just a few hours. Has to be amongst the biggest patches I've ever seen for a Super Creative game. This is a massive patch. As Cosmic and I were talking about before we came on air, we were just talking privately in chat. It feels like a whole new game. There's so many crazy changes. Season 2 is called Seed of Karmic Fire. It's a 9-week event, just like Season 1. And we'll just kind of go in order with the patch notes and go through each of the different things. So the first thing here to talk about is this distortion adaptation. You may have seen this if you play Epic 7. It's very similar to Grace of Growth. I like to think of it as like a try before you buy sort of feature, where you essentially can use this like toggle. You see it here. It's like this yellow switch. And what it does is it takes whatever character is in your team before you go into Chaos, kind of outfits it with some starter memory fragments, levels up some of the potentials temporarily, gives you a temporary level boost, and therefore you can kind of, use your Magna, your 9, whatever character, your Owen, for example, that you want to try out before you actually have to dedicate resources and stamina into it to get it to work. I personally think this is only a good thing. I think this is one of those like no-brainer, it should always be in the game kind of ordeal.
Yeah, one of those like, why wasn't it at 1.0? I'd make the joke, like, obviously this is something that a lot of people would have benefited from sooner, because potential, as someone who pre-farms for every character, and the fact that it takes me like 9 days for potentials, whatever, some absurd amount of time, right? Someone can keep me honest on that, but like this helps us out, at least carve out one aspect of it, and I think it'll at least give players the opportunity to be like, dive in, check out some new stuff, and then decide if you want to hyper invest into that character or not. So yeah, only all positives possible coming out of this.
Yeah. Did you actually pre-farm everything for 9? Like,
yes, I will have her all her potentials max, level 60, all that stuff. I did pre-farm Vanguard books as well, in case I get her partner, which I probably won't, just because I'm saving just for like whatever the next limited is, because spoiler, there will be a new seasonal at some point, and I just want to save for that partner instead. So I'm just kind of being more careful with my pulls otherwise.
Yeah, for me, partner XP and materials, in case I got the partner, is the thing I didn't really farm. And you're right, it was like 9 days to get all of the potentials done. I don't even think I have enough to fully max it. I think I have like 175 or 180 of like the yellow greenstones. I don't know if that's enough with the blue ones for conversion. Hopefully it is. Somebody told me it was 200 yellows, so I'm pretty close. Yeah, it's a lot. Like, every time I'm like, yeah, I pre-farmed for it, and then chat knows, like, I get in there, I'm like, oh, I only have enough to get like half the potentials. I always forget how many potential rocks it takes to actually level all the skills. But yeah, this distortion adaptation, I think for a lot of you guys, because I don't know about Cosmic, but like I refresh often. Like I don't max refresh every day anymore, but like there are more days I have max refresh than not max refresh since launch. So let's put it that way. So if I feel the burn, I can only imagine how people who are low spenders or free to play players feel. So I feel like this feature for you guys is like a godsend, right? It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I was max refreshing up until like 51, and just like as many people grilled me on, I still have a level 1 Renoa and a level 1 Luke on my account because I obviously have to prioritize new characters, and I can't go back and level old stuff, unfortunately.
Hey, shout outs to G Clef on the YouTube chat. Let's go. G Clef is the boy. I think you did a great job, by the way, this morning with the stream. I know that there was definitely some haters. I was seeing them in the comment section, but I appreciate all you do. Right? I really do. G Clef has been around the super creative community for a very long time. He's the person that does all the Chaos Zero Nightmare streams that you guys have been seeing since NA launch. He does a lot of stuff like MCing for Epic 7 World Championship and things like that. You know, just very hardworking member of the community, right? Yes, yes. Human sandbag, thanks. Oh, that's oh man, I hope that that's a thing again. I would love to get a rerun of that. So if you guys don't know what G Clef is talking about when he says human sandbag, thanks. Last year for April Fool's event for Epic 7, if you go into like the training mode in Epic 7, you could kind of beat up these sandbags to kind of test out your character's skills. Well, they made an April Fool's story where the sandbag punches you back, and G Clef was the voice of that, and it was really, really, really good. I thought that was very, very funny. I could do this all day. The voice lines were so good in that event. Yep.
Yeah, please no 15%. Oh no.
Yeah. So yeah, even Cosmic has tried E7 for a little bit. Yeah. So next thing to talk about, Nebula Distortion and Great Rift are back. Yay.
Okay.
Nebula Distortion is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, Nebula Distortion I think gets a pass at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do like Nebula Distortion. I had to think a little bit about how to do some of them last time. Like Head of the Family was pretty easy for me the last time, and I can never remember the wolf's name. I jokingly call him Tristan Wolf as like a knock against my E7 podcast co-host. But that one was pretty interesting because it was like, oh, can you build a deck with Chizuru that's like multi-hit to kind of lock down the boss? I thought that was pretty clever. The one that I didn't appreciate though is the crab from the first Nebula Distortion. I hate to admit it, like I beat the first two Nebula Distortions, like, you know, like that. They were super easy. For me, I feel like, you know, I got them within the first like half hour or hour that it came out, and it felt really satisfying to get it like super early on. But that crab, man, I don't think I cleared him until like 2 weeks into the Serennial banner. Like that's how late in the season I cleared him. He was super, super terrible. I remember
he was very toxic to deal with.
Smilegate put out a bounty for content creators for Nebula Distortion. Makes me wonder if they'll do it this time. But the first person that could beat difficulty 9 and cover it as a content creator for the crab ended up getting like, you know, a couple extra gems, right, as like an incentive to kind of motivate people to promote that style of content. I thought that was like pretty cool. But when I saw it was Mei Lin and all the submissions were Mei Lin, I was like, oh, just eyes glaze over, like, oh yeah, that's something I don't really want to do. I like playing characters like Renoa, Luke, Magna, Maribel, and they're ill-suited to that. So yeah, it's just piece of content that wasn't really tailored towards me, I feel like.
Yeah, I think we can all agree it was not a fun one to deal with, and there was a lot of the strategy around it, right? Just ended up burning down the boss is what a lot of people focused on, which is its own strategy, of course, but still that brings the point of like, all right, Mei Lin time, have fun, right?
Yeah, Mei Lin is a character I think I'll revisit and give my thoughts on when we get to like actually talk about characters with balance adjustment, because I know a lot of people were expecting something with Mei Lin, and having played her now a bit more, I don't really think that it's necessary, so we'll get to that a bit later. As usual with season 2, just like with season 1, there's a weekly supply store. Make sure you get your free Tier of God once per week. Otherwise, just farm Chaos to your heart's content. Make sure you pick up all of the materials in case you're trying to get things for 9. If you haven't pre-farmed it, obviously you want the amplification anchors, right? And the rescue anchors. You want to get those summons. I don't think I have to explain all of this to you guys. You're gacha players. You guys already know what this stuff is. There's going to be tons of events, tons of freebies. Just make sure you do the different tasks and you'll be good. Got these galactic medals. I assume these are like achievement medals, like kind of
Yep.
like previous season. Can you use these on like, I guess, profile cards? I'm not really sure.
That's what I'm hoping for. That's the one thing that stuck out to me. Like, it seems like it's its own seasonal-based achievement, which is fine. But I'd really hope that some of these come over to the profile cards, which was mentioned a little bit later in the notes. But
Yeah.
either way, just really cool to see just another level of like, hey, let's celebrate the season, make players feel like they're investing their time. So, it's something small. It's just a little, badge, right? That you can feel that sense of pride and accomplishment. But still, I am someone who likes, filling in all the little dots, and the collector in me was happy to see this.
Yeah. Now it's also they talked about the I think it was like the seasonal board, which is kind of like a new feature. They're trying out something similar in Epic 7. They're really trying to respect your time with their games now, where it's like, here's like a handy dandy cheat sheet that kind of lets you at a glance see what you still have left to do for the season before the time frame is up, so that way you can kind of prioritize and figure things out. I think it just makes things a lot easier overall. I guess now this brings us to the elephant in the room, the thing that everybody's going to be here to watch, either myself or you, Cosmic, later on tonight, which is 9, the newest combatant. Out of curiosity, I'd like to see what your take is on the character, right? Like, how do you feel right now before we jump into it?
I don't. Put me on the cross, I guess.
If you want me to go first,
right,
I'll give you my opinion first.
No. I don't mind. So for those that don't know, like, Narja was one of my favorite characters. And again, I think this goes back to a deck building perspective to add a little context to what I'm about to say. Narja was just a really great character because she has so much in her kit that can be used a lot of different ways in various team comps, from vanguards to burst characters. Like, she really just can do everything and fits in a lot of really great roles kind of across the field, right? We even had our short that was like, oh my God, look at her do like 18,000 damage in a turn or whatever it was, early out in the patch. Like, holy shit, there's even a damage dealing build that you can do with her.
Yep.
And then, as many people know, I try to share out like my infographics and whatnot. So as Sue and I were talking offline, and as I'm building this up in the background, I'm just not all that excited because it's very much like, if you need a shielder, this is the build that you're doing. Oh, if you want to go for this extreme amount of damage, this is the very cookie cutter build that you do for her. And then beyond that, there is a very limited number of characters that can support what 9 wants to be doing, on top of the fact that the seasonal is all about Giga, exhaust only, which then makes me worry, what does 9 look like as a character once all of her seasonal support rotates? And for me, that is the biggest question, biggest elephant in the room, because I don't want you guys to just like pull on a character and be like, oh my God, they're so crazy for just this one season. She's going to lose a bit of her kit as soon as this season is over. So between the extreme limited nature of her kit, combined with the fact that I think she might only really shine in this second season, I do take a bit of pause here, even if her kit will be super fun to play. Like, I love the level up stuff. As many of you might know, I love Haru, and this is basically just a new Haru. Let's call it like it is, right? The new build up, huge slam attack. Love that. I'm all for that, but I'm also trying to make a sense of like, okay, do we see a support that is going to work directly with 9 to kind of carry her outside of this season? Or is this going to be something that just fills a role, which will always be good for the Tower of Screams, right? Like, sure, it'll always be good for that content, but I always try to approach it like, is this a character that I would feel good recommending for players 3 months from now? Okay, that might be a little bit long because of gacha power creep, but whatever, right? Is this a character that people will still love down the road? Now, the last thing I'll say before I shut up is that I want to give a huge shout out one more time to the devs for buffing old characters, because at worst, 9 can get some love in the future, and I think that's still a positive for her kit.
Yeah, the The way I feel about it is the same way I kind of labeled, maybe it's a little bit of a misnomer, my video from earlier today, is that she is strong but niche. She does have more team comps than I think people realize, but this is a character whose playstyle I don't think is going to click with everybody. So like I would highly recommend, before you pull, watching somebody like myself or Cosmic pull the character and try it out and see if that is something that appeals to you, because this is very much like a slow and steady wins the race style character. This is not like I jam down a bunch of attacks like, you know, like I'm not going to be drawing a ton of cards like Veronica. I'm not going to be bullet spamming like a Renoa or a Luke or a homing laser spam, right? Lightning Dingo. Like if you like to draw a lot of cards, play a lot of attacks per turn, do a lot of game actions, I don't think this is necessarily going to be the character for you. I think this is a character that is very strong, but you can't just slot into every single team. Like there has to be some kind of intent. Like when we take a look at the cards in a second, you'll see it's not like you have to have a game plan, right? Like, oh, I'm going to pair 9 with Magda and I'm going to focus on building a counter-based deck. And you kind of have to stick to that vision. And if you don't, the character's not going to feel particularly very good, right? That's exactly what I'm trying to get at here. When we take a look at the cards, especially the Epiphanies for her signature card, Hugh, you'll see that all 5 cards basically are like signpost cards. They specifically kind of push you in a direction and tell you, this is exactly what I want to do with the character. And if you're not doing that, you're going to have a bad time, right? All right. So I guess
I think the Q is the selling point.
Yeah. So we'll kind of jump over here. These are some images that were pulled off of Reddit from the live stream earlier. So not the greatest quality, but in case you guys don't know, here is the starting deck here for 9. You have a attack that is basically 2 attacks and a skill. It's kind of weird. I wish there was like a shorthand for this, like a 2A 1S deck or something like that. Yeah. I always love that about Fate Grand Order. They're like, oh yeah, this person has a Nier Automata deck. And I'm like, I know immediately what that means because it's a 2B A2 1Q deck. So it's like, I know that my starting deck is literally a 2B A2 deck. And that always feels really, really good as like a shorthand. But yeah. So then you have this signature card here, Hugh. The entire character revolves around this Hugh card. It is a 3-cost attack. It has the keywords unique, so you can only have 1 copy. Initiation, it starts in your hand. Exhaust, which means when you use it, it's removed from your deck. And then it has ephemeral, which means that if you don't play it during your turn, it has exhaust, which when you see that combination of keywords, it's very worrying because it's like, I only get 1. I have to use it on the first turn. If I use it, I lose it. If I don't use it, I lose it. Now, the key to what makes the card interesting or, you know, unique is the incinerate keyword here at the bottom. Incinerate is an effect that activates whenever Hugh is exhausted. So whether you play it or you pass your turn and let Ephemeral do it for you, it will create 1 Hugh level 1 in your hand, either currently if you exhausted it now or for the very next turn, right? So what that does basically is it's kind of like a revolving door of how the actual attack works. You start at level 0. When you exhaust it or play it or let it expire, you go to level 1. If you play, exhaust, or let level 1 expire, you go to level 2. Level 2 will go to level 3, and then 3 wraps back around to 1. So that's kind of what it is. You want to use Hugh when it's on the higher levels, not necessarily when it's on the lower levels. The lower levels, your goal should be either to buy time until it kind of goes away and is a higher tier copy, or you want to use some kind of teammate that can exhaust it or various different epiphanies of the kit to get rid of the actual attack. So that's kind of the game plan is how can I get rid of Hughs and then spend Hughs once they're at higher levels, right? Did I miss anything? You still with me, Cosmic?
Yeah, no, you're right in all that. Just again, the biggest part for me going back to this is like what real good exhaust options do we have, because this does read as something that we want to like really try to figure out what is going to be the most optimal way to charge it up very quickly, because especially once we get to the epiphanies, you know, going into extreme level 5 is going to take some time, but my god, that damage payoff is pretty sick.
Yeah. So moving on to the other cards here, so we have Experience Strike. This is basically your primary defensive tool. Like, yes, you have a basic shield, but Experienced Strike is very similar to Maribel's Shelter Mark II or Glacial Iron Fist for Magda if you've played those Vanguards. It's essentially a damage-based move that returns 20% of the damage back to you as a shield, and it's capped at essentially 20% of your max HP. So it basically gives you a little bit of a shield in exchange for some damage. It also increases the damage amount of exhaust cards that you have by 20%. Notice that that's multiplicative for one turn. Obviously, your only exhaust attack is going to be Hugh, so you could basically infer that that is just a damage buff for Hugh in addition to getting a small shield when you use it. Then you have Fatal Strike, single target defense-based attack, increases the damage of the damage of this attack, by 20% for each cost of the highest cost exhaust card in hand, then exhaust that card. So essentially, if you have a 3-cost Hugh in your hand, it's a 60% damage boost to Fatal Strike, and then it will exhaust you, and then hopefully boost you up to the next level. Then you have Counterblade, which is the upgrade, unique, so you can only have one copy of it. When a shield is gained through an ability, whether that's through 9 or one of your teammates, like say Maribel, you'll gain 1 Honed Edge, which is going to be a 20% multiplicative attack buff for 1 turn, and it can stack up to 3 times. And then finally, arguably the second most important card in the entire deck will be Fighting Spirit, 1-cost skill, activates 1 highest cost attack card of this unit in hand on the target, then exhaust those cards. So essentially, it lets you play Hugh for 1 instead of having to pay the monstrous cost of 3. So yeah, that's basically the base kit for the actual character. Yeah, keyword on this unit. Yep.
Yeah, and again, the biggest part is just seeing where Hugh is going to land up and which version of the Epiphany people take. But, you know, for me personally, with all this extra multipliers we have in the kit, and then as soon as we get some type of vulnerable spam around there, Hugh is going to be hitting like a truck, which is going to be super fun for like those random clips and whatnot. But again, really trying to sell it home here that she is going to be a heavy hitter. Of course, you'll have your 2 strike cards for this setup, but generally there will be a turn where it's like, okay, well, I'm spending 2 AP for like this base setup, and then you have 1 AP left, and where does that really go? So I'm very curious to see where Divines kind of play a role in this with the extra draw and the extra AP generation, because it feels like it's going to be extremely important for her kit when she is kind of AP hungry. Like, she plays stuff for free, but at the same time, she wants a lot of setup for those turns. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. So we had a question in chat. What card would you want to copy with her? It feels like you want Fighting Spirit copies, but would you want some Hugh copies as well? So Fighting Spirit is absolutely the card that you want to be duplicating with this character, which means that surprisingly the variance on the character is low because you're going to be duping a card that doesn't have epiphanies a lot. But remember, Hugh is unique, so you cannot dupe Hugh. To your point though, Cosmic, about divine epiphanies, I think a lot of people seem to forget Hugh is a 3-cost attack, which means that divine epiphanies on this are supercharged.
That's right.
So like,
holy hell.
So like, for example, the ambush version of Hugh, which we'll talk about later, which is something very similar to like Kalipe's vulture ejection. So you're not going to really be paying the cost for that because it's a 3-cost attack. It could have divine epiphanies that are like draw 2 as opposed to draw 1. If you remember what like Cobalt Light was able to get draw 2. Shit. So yeah, there could potentially be some very silly combos. I don't think that people often think about the fact that divine epiphanies on 3-cost plus cards are substantially stronger than the ones for 2 or less cost.
Yeah, and a lot of it reminds me too of like getting vulnerable on vulture ejections, right? Like that's going to be a huge like self-contained damage increase on Hugh as well. So, God, I don't even know what other 3-cost ones are, because have we had other? No, it's been a while since I've had like a 3-cost card.
It's usually just it's usually just Vulture and Cobalt Light. Usually you don't really see anyone else. Like, I personally messed around with like the 3-cost version of Glacial Iron Fist in the past as like a meme, and it's not really that good. Usually the 3 AP cost cards that we have currently, they're not really that strong. Considering this whole character is built around a 3-cost, like I have to imagine that certain divine epiphanies are going to be like the cream of the crop things you're going to be looking for. Like, having a strong version of Hugh is going to be everything for this character.
Yeah, well, we found a reset target. The season 1 brain is still killing me, but we found our upgrade target for what we want to get our divine on and whatnot for sure then. But yeah, to your point, for copying in this deck in particular, it does feel bad because right? As you mentioned, normally we'd want to copy whatever our signature card is for looping the damage, which would be Hugh, but Hugh is unique, so we're stuck there. And Fighting Spirit otherwise just allows us to get the free activation. So I'll be curious to see where all this lands, because there's also something to be said with the save data changes, right? Removing all your basics is now only 60 instead of 100. Well, we'll probably get into this more later, but we have more points to work with in this new season. So that's kind of like a big selling point too of we now have more divines to work with. We have more copies to work, or well, copy points. I need to be very careful on my wording to work with. So it does open up a lot more options that we didn't have previously for deck building.
Yeah. Pooty in the chat saying Fighting Spirit, huh? Obviously a nod to Fighting Spirit and Epic 7. Not the same thing. Not the same thing, homie. All right, so I have here also some of the Epiphany choices, so we could kind of go over these again. These were pulled off of screen grabs from Reddit, thanks to the mods over there. We're kind of posting this stuff up. So as you can see, we talked about signposts, so it's like card game terminology for like it's an indicator that pushes you in a direction for how you want to build your deck. So all of the versions of Hugh for their Epiphanies have names. So rather than me saying, oh, I play Hugh Epiphany 1 or Hugh Epiphany 4, you could just call them by their shorthand. So we have Ironclad Hugh, Extreme Hugh, Flash Hugh, Massacre Hugh, and then Ambush Hugh. So Ironclad, it has increased damage and you get a shield when you activate it. This is very clearly the one that you go towards if you are trying to play 9 as a main tank. Like, so if you were like, I need a Vanguard to hold the front line for Spiral Tower Screams, this is very clearly the direction that you want to push the character in. Extreme is basically the big boy damage build. As you can see, it's in red text, so it has less damage. But what you don't see here is that unlike other versions of Hugh, which only go from level 0 up to level 3, Extreme goes from level 0 up to level 5. And level 5 does like ludicrous damage. Like if you just are, you know, you just want to do the big boy damage, you just want to do the deeps, this is the one that you're going to want to go for. Yeah, it's 1200%.
Yeah, 1200.
Yeah, 1200% is what it's at. So if you're looking for that big damage, you want to do like 5+ digits in a single swing, this is the one for you. 3 is Flash. So Flash, it gains the retain keyword, so it stays in your hand. It also gains Ignition, which is a new keyword as far as I'm aware of with this patch. So Ignition is every time you exhaust a card in your hand, the cost of this card goes down. So this means that you want to pair 9 with characters that have a lot of cards that they can exhaust in their hand, namely somebody like Luke. Luke can generate a ton of bullets. You spend those bullets, it'll make your Hugh cheap, basically 0. You play it out, you get a new copy in your hand, then you go pew pew with more bullets with Luke. So this is kind of like a more offense-oriented combo build-around. The 4th one, Massacre, is an AoE attack as opposed to a single target, but for each target you hit, it incurs a 10% multiplicative damage penalty. So if you hit 4 units with it, you lose 40% of the damage. So that's kind of the trade-off. You're hitting more units, but it's just not going to hit as hard. Think of like Yuki. Yuki doesn't have the best single target damage, but that's because she can hit everything at one time. That's kind of the purpose of this one. So if you're looking for like a farming team, maybe you play 9 with Yuki and just have like a super powerful AoE team for certain comps. That's what this one is for. And then the one that is at least the most interesting to me is Ambush, which also gains the retain keyword. Whenever an ally counterattacks, it activates this card in your hand. So it's going to sit in your hand because of retain. If you counter, you just hit them with this. And I think that's super awesome because anybody who's a viewer of my streams, we like Magna. We play Magna a lot. Magna generates 10 counter attack stacks super easily, right? We have those all the time in any prolonged battle. So I will always be able to activate this every single turn in my hand. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, this is a big one. I think too, like just to kind of reemphasize, because I know I might not be the most excited for her kit overall, because again, she is kind of signed into certain ways, like once you get these epiphanies. The thing I do want to take a step back and acknowledge that if you are someone who doesn't have Magna yet, or you don't have Calliope yet, and you know that the tower content is something that is going to get expanded on, it's going to have more rewards for it and all that stuff, 9 does look to be like a very good character for tower, because it's not just, oh, she only fits into this, a side upgrade from Felipe because you are getting these shields. She now also has a couple different build paths as well that you can use her with other teams. Yes, a little bit more niche than Narja, but it still gives you a character who is going to be very, very strong in tower. So I think if you are stuck with like only Maribel right now, that can definitely be another reason to pick up 9 to have a kind of a free pass, right, for tower content for how strong her kit can be.
People are asking, do we have to counter or just gain counter? It's when you counter, right? Which, by the way, we'll get into that in a second, but counter is massively buffed in this season.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah. So ambush is definitely, if you're going to be watching me later, just know we stay in ambush. We're going to be playing ambush quite a lot tonight. I think that's the most exciting build. For me, Flash, so I could get more mileage out of my Luke, because I love that character, and Ambush for my girl Magda. These are the ones that are the most interesting to me, but I could definitely see the value in all of these, right? Like, they all have very clearly defined build-arounds. I feel like Great Rift, whenever we get around to that, Extreme is probably going to be the one that you're going to want to go for, because it's got the highest damage ceiling, which means the most amount of points overall. I'm going to be the #1 Magna user on global for real. All right, well, get in line, buddy, because currently I think I'm #1, and then Machine Gun is #2. To be fair, with all the Magna buffs she's getting in this patch, I think I'm going to lose that throne pretty quickly, man. Some people have way more time than I do to be able to farm the perfect deck. All right, moving on to our next card. This is Experience Strike. Again, these ones I think have pretty clearly defined slots that they go into. The first one here for Experience Strike is a damage increase and also gives a greater multiplier to Hugh, so it's just a better version of the base effect. The second one is a little bit more like if you want to play a cheaper AP cost attack build for 9. Essentially, it does not boost the damage of Hugh. Instead, if a card was exhausted this turn, it increases the Experience Strike's damage by 30%, right? So it essentially juices a 1-cost attack. Like, this is a 1-cost DPS option, as opposed to it being kind of like an attack you throw out to kind of ramp up damage for another card in your hand. Third one here, also damage increase. Increases shield gain amount of skill cards by 30% for 1 turn. So obviously, if you're on that Iron Guard build, this is going to be the one you're going to want to focus on. Then you have the fourth one, which is base parameters, but plus 60% damage amount for each exhaust card in hand. So this is the one that you would play with, like the Flash build, for example, that we talked about, where you want to have a lot of exhaust cards from characters like Luke, or maybe like you have a bunch of snack times you dupe with Rey. This is the card that you're going to want to play with that build. And then the last one here is very clearly the Ambush build one. Increased damage for 1 turn when exhaust card is activated. You get 1 counter attack, which gives your 9 a way to actually activate her own ambush in case you're not you don't have stacks on Maribel or Magda, which feels impossible for the most part. So yeah, those are pretty much those. I don't know if you have anything you want to add on these ones, Cosmic.
No, these ones really, as you mentioned, kind of all are set up towards like, hey, whichever Q you're trying to build for, clearly you're going to take the strike that's going to boost it. And one thing I will kind of acknowledge too, and actually shout out to Sonic in the chat there, but it's just like, yeah, you can do some pretty silly stuff with like the X cost Serenial build and giving you all the extra exhaust layers into your hand and then popping off for like this big shield. So there are definitely going to be some corner cases like that where you can expand out their team combinations a little bit. But I'm very curious to see like where this lands a week from now in terms of what are all the different team combinations that people are really leaning into.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are suspecting Serenial plus Flash. That is definitely a viable build. I try not to recommend Serenial as much as possible because, yes, I recognize that she is very clearly the best character in the game, but I don't know about you guys, but I think her play pattern's pretty linear and straightforward and not really as exciting as some of the other characters in the roster. I get it. She's really hot. She's a really cool character. A lot of people really like her. She's powerful, so she's got her fans. But for me, I'm kind of like, I don't know, man. I just like playing Rinoa and Luke if I want to get my fix of just like a ton of damage per turn, like playing a lot of different cards every single turn. I can't hear you over these 10 million Senmets. Sue, recognize it?
Senmetsu. Oh God, please save me. Or sorry, the other one, right? Lightning Dingo! Over and over, my God. Holy hell, I cannot do certain characters. I gotta turn voices off for some characters, man.
Yeah, I do think Hugo needs like one more voice line, but to be fair, my dumb joke is Hugo's JP voice is Yuichi Nakamura, who's like very famous Japanese VA, famous for like, you know, Jujutsu Kaisen and stuff. And so I'm like, oh, maybe they just didn't have the budget, man. They couldn't afford more than one line. That's why we're stuck with Lightning Dingo every 2 seconds. All right, let's move on to our next one. Yeah. All right. These ones I actually did not see. So these ones are actually new to me because they were not available earlier this morning when I did my first impressions on 9. So this is actually my first time looking at the ones for Fatal Strike here. All right, so the first one cost attack. So increase damage amount by 30% for each cost of the highest cost. So you basically get a 90% damage buff on Fatal Strike. So this one is just, I want to hit you as hard as possible. It's just the deeps. That's it. All right, so the second one, 2 cost card, even more damage, increased damage amount by 20% for each cost of the highest cost card in hand. I think I would rather just play the first one than this one. This one feels... Fatal Strike feels like it's better when you don't have him in your hand. The second one? I don't know about this one. This one seems kind of suspect. All right. We got the number 3 here. 5 cost skill. Unique ignition retained, so it gets cheaper every time you exhaust a card. Change hue in hand to its final level. Holy...
I love this one.
Oh,
absolutely huge fan
wow.
of this one.
Wow. All right. So if you're on extreme, this has to be the one, right? You're just like, yeah.
This is, I'm getting my extreme 5 and I'm bonking every turn that I can, damn it. I am a huge fan of this one.
Oh, yeah. This is definitely, oh, man, it's unique. I was going to say, this is one of those ones where like, I want to dupe this, but oh, man, this one is so strong. What the hell? Yeah, no, you can't copy it, Grey Ram. It's got unique. I thought that, don't worry, I thought the same thing as you. I looked at this, I was like, oh my God, you have to dupe this one. The devs knew. The devs knew that everybody would just go for like a bunch of copies of this one.
They kneecapped me right away on this one. I was like, all right, fine, you got me. I can't have as many big bonks as I want.
Yeah, GH is right, though. What do Divines look like when it's a 5 cost skill? So the Divine Epiphanies on the 5 cost one are probably going to be nuts because, again, the game is going to recognize it as a 3+. So it might be like, you know, unique ignition retain, change hue in hand to its final level, 2 AP. Which is like, oh, yeah, that's kind of insane, right? Right, it'll be like, or 5 morale, or, you know, or something just like absolutely ridiculous. It gives 3 fortitude. So you're just like, I expect that the epiphanies, the divine epiphanies on this third one are going to be just absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I will say it's like, I'm almost more excited just for the new divine options that we're going to see because we just don't have a lot of these high costed characters compared to like where some of these are popping up. So the divines on this are going to go crazy. And I knew someone was going to say it, but for the love of God, please don't give me agony. I'm so tired of seeing agony on these cards, man. I don't want it anymore. No more agony, please.
Is now a good time to start CZN that people want to know? Yes, I would say this is the absolute best. This is the best time. If you didn't get in at launch, this is the absolute best time to get in right now because they basically just revamped everything. Tons of quality of life features. Again, we're going over all this stuff now ahead of the actual patch. All right, so let's see. What's number 4 do? That is a lot of small attacks. 1 cost skill. Exhaust 2 random exhaust cards of other combatants in your hand. For each card exhausted through this ability, increase damage amount of the next used attack card by this unit by 30%. Until used, so it carries over between turns for each card. So this is a 60% multiplicative damage buff, but it's so situational.
Yeah, this is one that like I'm gonna have to figure out where other combinations we can get because right, Kayron, Serenial, they generate a bunch of extra cards that we want to get rid of anyways. But like, how much can we really ramp this up over turns that we're not just like wasting time for a setup, right? Like, this is one of those, I definitely see it as being a really cool setup, get the meme numbers card, but it's one that I keep going back to. I'm like, how do I really fit this in where I feel good about what I am exhausting, right? Because it is random at the end of the day on top of everything. If it was select 2, I would feel a little bit better about it, but this is one that I keep staring and I'm like, man, the random is really going to be painful on this.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this one. I think that this one is like cool for those of you guys who like to make YouTube shorts or like cool Reddit posts. This is absolutely your card. But for me, who likes to reduce variance as much as possible, I look at this one, I'm like, that ain't it, Chief. That is not for me. All right. Number 5 here for Fatal Strike. Gains retain, increase off base damage, increase damage amount by 80% for each ally owning counterattack. Oh, man. Wait.
Yep, there's our Vanguard team.
Wait. So, like, if I put my controller, right, like my Nia or whatever, on that piece of equipment that makes me start with 2 counterattack stacks, right, and I play it with Magda, oh my god, I get 160% multiplicative damage. Oh, man. All right, this one might be a meme. But I think it's cool.
I didn't see any gear though, other than that though. So like, is there anything else that gives us? And I really wish the game was live so I could see. Like, I feel like I remember there being a gear that can give non-Vanguards counterattack, that like through other means, but I couldn't remember what exactly it was. So I think this is one that will be interesting to seeing if we can get, you know, counterattack to other units other than the one that gives you 2 and then you're kind of out of luck.
Yeah, this is gonna be one of those ones where like, I gotta try to build around this at least once, right? I think the safe bet, safe money is 1 or 3. 5 seems like it'd be a lot of fun. I don't really know when you'd ever play 2, and then 4 is for the memes.
4 is gonna have some damn good memes though, so I'll take it.
All right. So the last card with epiphanies here is Counterblade. So option 1, when a card is exhausted, you gain 1 honed edge. So again, you play it with the flash version. So you're going to exhaust a lot of cards in your hand. That's going to generate a lot of honed edge, get you up to that 60% damage boost. Second one is just an upgraded version of the base version of the card, right? Increases your shield gain a little bit. And when a shield is gained, you gain 1 honed edge. Obviously, this is the Iron Guard version of Counterblade you play. Third one, Counterblade, it's just the base copy, except it gains initiation. So if you want some consistency. Fourth one, when counterattack is gained, 1 honed edge plus. I don't know the difference between honed edge and honed edge plus. If you know what it is, you can let me know in the chat. Obviously, this is the ambush one because that's the counterattack build. And then the last one here is the generically best one. At the start of your turn, just activates you for free. You just do the thing. So yeah, these are pretty easy to understand. I think this is like the easiest one to understand out of all the skills.
Yeah, this is thankfully pretty straightforward. And then just for the those in the chat, the exact wording is honed edge, increased defense base damage amount of attack cards by 20% for 1 turn, max of 3 stacks. So up to a 60% boost is what it's going to be able to give.
Yeah. Don't even joke about that. Spatial saying the Tristan Wolf boss is going to steal your hue, like the dog that eats the random card in your hand.
Oh Christ, no! That is.
It always prioritizes
like ballistas. All over
it eats your initiation retain cards. I swear, bro. Oh man, that's gonna be like the worst thing because like you need multi hits to get them back, and she's like 1 big hit per turn. That is definitely her kryptonite. Is that fight? But yeah, no, somebody in chat is saying honed edge plus means that the 60% attack buff applies to your whole team, not necessarily 9. So that's really strong, man. 60% multiplicative is quite a lot of damage.
Jesus Christ, that is.
Yeah, a lot of characters so far that we've had, like Rey and like Narja and stuff, these are additive bonuses, which are good. They're not multiplicative. That's the one thing I will say about 9 is that her damage amps are like substantial. Like these are thick damage buffs.
Yeah, the thing I go back to, right, is that, and maybe the solution here is that we get the draw epiphanies, but it's like now we're setting up this team where obviously Magna is still going to be like the 0 upgrade, or sorry, 0 cards in deck, all upgrade style of build, but that honed edge giving you that damage amp as well for like just the rest of the team and everything that they're doing. Now, Magna's not going to get it because it's counterattack, but having this boost the vulture ejections even more for just free while, you know, she's doing her own amount of damage is really gonna be interesting to see how this comes together. Now again, it's hard to recommend a triple 5-star team for like a normal video, but I can definitely see how the triple Vanguard dreams are very real with this upgrade.
It's actually funny. That's one of the recommended teams. One of the recommended teams for 9 is like 9 Khalipe Amir, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to play a triple Vanguard team. I think if you can get some draw support, because I saw some people say they don't think that like Khalipe 9 and Narja could work, or like Magna 9 Narja, because you just don't have any draw power. I still think that those teams can work. You'll have to be smart with your Epiphany choices, and it will be a pretty slow and clunky deck. But I don't think it's that bad. I really don't think it's that bad. Considering you have so many ways to cheat costs on that team, I think it'll be fine, right?
Yeah, the biggest part is that we lost our confiscation. So for those that have seen it or don't know, I made like this full auto Narja, Khalipe, and Magna team that has been able to just full auto everything through tower so far, and it should be strong enough to full auto the entire content, because I really went in the weeds on that team for min-maxing. But we don't have that neutral draw action anymore, right? So you are strictly reliant on how good are the divine epiphanies that we have on Hugh and, well, the fatal strike if you pick the 5 variant, for kind of like filling that same role. So that's a big question for me. Like, what does the draw application look like under those situations, or what other draw can we ultimately have? Because yeah, like rally is a thing, but the whole reason why confiscation was good is because it could draw us into another card filter and give us a +1 or +2.
Yeah, portrait.
So for those that don't know, like you play the card and it's going to give you an additional card back on top of it, right, from the non-card game players in the chat. But like it helped you cycle. So every turn, I could cycle through my entire deck with Khalipe and Magna and just have this max Vulture Ejection turn, gain 1500 shield, but it was all because of the support that we had in Season 1. So very curious to see where this ends up for her divine options.
Yeah, the loss of Portrait is like a really big deal. I don't think people realize like how good Portrait was as like a neutral. Yeah. Like we were all on Ecstasy of Violence at the start of the season, and like, don't get me wrong, that's an incredible card. But by the end of Season 1, it became pretty clear Portrait was like the way. My favorite deck that I play right now with Magna has, you know, a lot of vulnerability, a lot of shield gain in the actual deck, but the big offensive firepower in that deck, you would think it'd be like Glacial Iron Fist. No, not really. I have 2 copies of Portrait of Fury that I play in that deck, and that kind of allows my tank to also be a substitute for my actual like draw power. And I also have I believe draw 1 on one of my epiphanies as well. I think actually my Frost Shields have draw 1. So not only do I get vulnerable application, but my Magna is cycling me through my deck, right? That's just like a tangential, like a side thing. That's why I don't put like too much stock in people being like, oh, well, you don't have draw power because like you're not playing Veronica. And yes, I know Veronica could get like a draw 3, right? But you can honestly make any character you want work with the right epiphanies. Having draw 1 on a lot of key cards will very easily allow you to cycle through your deck. Like draw 3 is great, but if you are only playing like maybe like a 20 card deck, give or take total, multiple draw 3s, you're going to fly through the deck like super easy. You're going to actually overdraw the deck. You're not going to have enough cards in the deck to actually support that. It'd be better to have like just like some draw 1 or 2s and some extra stuff. It's a whole math thing. I'm not going to get into it like too much here. Yeah. All right. So that's it for 9. Again, not for everybody, but I still think a super cool and super strong character in the right situations. All right. So I guess we have to talk about the partner now. Was this Alsea, I believe is how it's pronounced. All right. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. This is Alsea. Honestly, I really like her design. I wish she was playable.
I'm gonna butcher it either way. Alsea, I guess you're. Yeah, the design is sick though. I really do appreciate. And like, look, I'll just call it like it is. Can we stop having balloons for every design going forward? So like, I very much sincerely appreciate that. It's like, first and foremost, if any devs are watching this, can I please get some hot men? That's all I'm asking for. Release Carl, all right? Like, he's not even the most husbando out there, but give me Carl already, please. I beg you. But yeah, like, I really appreciate that. We are getting a little bit more variety in our design. It is very much that is very well appreciated.
Yeah. No, this is a really, really good design. I like this one a lot. All right, so she is a Vanguard partner. I'll read it for you guys. So her passive skill, she has 3 skills. First one, assigned combatant's defense is increased by 8%. That's basically standard, especially after this patch. When the assigned combatant's exhaust card is exhausted or activated, the defense base damage amount of your next attack card is increased by 20%. Note here, by the way, that it says max 1 stack. So as far as I'm aware, this carries over between turns. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. So basically, you can activate Hue. That'll give you a 20% damage buff on your next attack. It'll carry over to next turn, and so that your next Hue, next turn, if it's your very first attack, will end up getting that 20% damage bonus. And then finally, when the assigned combatant's card, the assigned combatant exhausts a card, with a cost of 2 or higher, you gain a 100% fixed shield 1 time per turn. Honestly, the main reason to pull the character is the third one, especially if you want to play Iron Guard.
100%.
Yeah, I think this is the strongest line of text on the entire card. Right. And then as for the ego skill, I believe this is 3 points, chat. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't actually have the card in front of me. I don't know how many ego points the ego skill is, but I'm going to assume this is 3. It is 250% defense-based damage to a single target, and then it places 5 caustic remarks on the target. And caustic remarks is a debuff that increases the damage amount of the target taken by 20%. And if the user has a shield active, you get an additional 10%. So obviously, when you exhaust a card, you get the shield, which means that you do more damage with caustic remarks. And when you hit an enemy that has caustic remarks, the stack count is reduced by 1. So it's essentially a single target that puts a bunch of like enhanced vulnerable. You can call them like vulnerable plus on the target.
Yep.
That's the best way you can think about it. Overall, I don't think it's a necessary or mandatory artifact, but if you do want to play her as a main tank, I feel like that's the strongest reason to pull the character or pull the partner overall. Like the fixed shield is very nice quality of life change for the character, because unless you're going Iron Guard build, you only really got like 1 shield, and it's not particularly like amazing. Like it's okay.
Yeah, the big selling part for me, right, is again to kind of hit it home, and like if you're someone who doesn't have Calliope or Magna and you just want here's an easy mode button for tower content, the character and the partner duo here are doing a lot of heavy lifting for those, right? Getting Ironclad, getting massive shields for free, and then just getting an additional within her own kit, having this damage buff on top of it is going to do a lot for smoothing out the gameplay and making sure that she is doing enough damage while also gaining really noticeable shields. So I think for that way, I also want to give a shout out to the 5-star partners in general, as they've been getting, upgraded, I will just say, like overall, because when we started CZN, like the 5-star partners just kind of were not great, and they all got buffed, which is really nice. But this is now, I wish they weren't as strictly focused of like, this will only ever be used for 9. I wish I had a little bit more flexibility with them. But in terms of a power level and now what you're getting for your investment of gems, the last 2 partners have been really, really, really good. I've been happy with them. So I really like this new trend that we have going forward with the partners.
Yeah. I will say, there is, I talked about this a little bit in my video, Magna can kind of sort of use this combatant or partner, but it's really, it's not really amazing. Like, they did buff Glacial Iron Fist, which we'll talk about later on, and you can use the newly buffed Epiphany 5 on this, but I don't think I would recommend it. So yeah, this is still, I think it's a little bit more open-ended, but right now I think 9 is still really the only user on this thing. It's not like Narsha's where you read it and you're like, oh, so this will never be used on anyone other than Narsha. Yeah. All right, so moving on, more events. Again, you don't need us to hold your hand. You're gacha players, you could read, hopefully.
Maybe.
There's always that joke about how card game players and gacha players can't read. I'm both, so, I can't read anything. Comments love to point that out. But yeah, these are all basically quests for freebies, tier gods, extra pull currency, extra gold, so on and so forth. All right, let's see. Kind of move on. What's the next most interesting thing besides all of these events? And Basin.
Lots of events, lots of resources, and hey, good upgrade materials. We'll take it. I'm very happy with that.
All right. I don't know if you have this up in front of you, Cosmic, but I'll let you kind of field this one to start. So save data storage rule adjustments, because this is a really important thing to understand going forward in this season. I'm going to be walk off screen for 1 second if you want to read through the various different rules or explain the changes to people. I'm just going to go grab a soda.
Yeah, fair enough. I was actually looking to get another coffee here myself. But yeah, so save data storage, right? There is a lot that is going to change from the first season. I think this is definitely one that is going to take some time to fully adjust because what Stu and I were talking kind of offline, right, is at a base level, and we'll kind of go line by line here just to make sure we explain all of it. But when you had your removal in season 1, if you removed all 3 basics, it cost 100 points. And now in the new season, it's only going to cost 60, meaning you have automatically an extra 40 points to work with, which might not sound like a lot up front, especially for new players. But when you have 40 points to then pick extra divines or pick extra copies up with, it really is going to build out brand new strategies that we just did not have access to in season 1. And on top of that, we're also having massive changes to monster cards. And spoiler, I am actually recommending monster cards now, which is insane because we said all of season 1 how absolute shit tier that they were. So this was honestly one of my biggest complaints coming out of season 1. So again, huge W to the devs for, making that change. And yes, there was one card that kind of got the sacrifice that we had to make with Spirit Fox, but I think it was very much worth it. So, we'll just kind of go through here for some of the other ones, and looks like he does actually have the Spirit Key Fox. So
I have them all
rough,
up,
right?
Yeah. So basically, the ones you can see here, there's like this table. You can find it on the developer notes page on Stowe. Common cards are now worth 20 points, so similar to other neutral cards. Rares are worth 50 points, and then legendary are worth 80 points. So basically, the ones that are legendary are the old monster point value, so they really got to be worth it for you to want to use it. So yeah. Out of curiosity, which one is the one that jumps out to you the most, Cosmic? Which one do you think is like, there's like 2 that I think are just like really nuts. And I'm curious which ones you really like for the monster cards. I don't know if you have them up in front of you.
I'm a simple man. For me, the biggest way that I was approaching this is like, I want to see what increased damage options we have, because there's something to be said about enabling, much like Ecstasy of Violence did for all of season 1. There is something to acknowledge about giving a character, let's just use Owen as an example, right? For the more free-to-play player, like giving us an extra attack card that we can use in a deck that's going to be very good, and especially something that is going to be further amplified by like Ray as an example, it really just does a lot for making sure that players who maybe just don't have as expansive of a roster can still make very strong free-to-play characters thanks to these new point adjustments. So I really just want to give a huge shout out to all of the lower cost monster cards that have multi-hit, because as we've seen time and time again, using these with Ray, which again, spoiler, I'm pretty sure she's still free for all players. It's just the E1, I think, was timed. Someone correct me in chat otherwise, but everyone has Ray, right? So we now have a very clear free-to-play style of option that says, look, here's these insane monster cards that are all going to get giga buffed with Ray that you have access to, that literally even Owen can be playable if you have a low roster count for the game. So for me personally, again, just trying to think of like what this means for overall accounts, I really got to give it out to, and like all 3 of them are good. Right? Shy Gardener, Sour Godfall, and Wing Humanoid, like all these are absolute bangers.
Yeah, I would say Shy Gardener is probably the best of them, just because Mark is surprisingly strong. Winged Humanoid Beast is not too far behind. Sorrowful Godfather is probably the worst of them, but like these are still all banger attacks. This is actually one of the ones that I wanted to highlight. These 3 are all really good. But the one that I'm super excited to build around, even if it's kind of janky, is Chilling Godfather. I feel like I have to try to do this at some point. So it's a 0-cost skill. You activate the bottom card of your deck for free, and then you choose 1 card in your hand and move it to the bottom of your draw pile afterwards. I really want to build a Serennial deck with like 3 or 4 copies of Cobalt Light, and then build a support that has like 3 or 4 copies of Chilling Godfather, and then just go play Chilling Godfather, play the bottom card of my deck for free, take a Cobalt Light, put it on the bottom, play another Chilling Godfather, play the Cobalt Light that I know is there, do a ton of damage, and then just keep doing it over and over and over again. Like that, to me, just cheating a bunch of costs with that kind of deck sounds really fun. It's kind of slow, it's kind of janky, but I think it'll be a really fun deck to play. Like I think if you build around this, you're not going to be disappointed. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of opportunities for us to kind of like reevaluate. I think that's the hardest thing too, because the commons only being 20, I think is fine, right? Like that's very easy to now fit in with the save data changes. But for me, there's a lot to still consider in terms of how all the different point calculations are coming together. Like legendaries, I think are still largely a pass in my opinion. Like there's still a very niche case for like the I think it's called Dominion, the one that's like the morale stacking one. Like
Yeah.
technically the Magna Oops All Upgrades deck can run that now, and because you have multiple stages in Tower, like yeah, sure, getting the morale buff is fine, but like that's the only instance. Otherwise, I think like okay, you have this hyper specific case where like you have Tower, you know that it's going to be like a 20 turn, boss battle that you got to do. Sure, morale infinitely stacking is great, but man, 80 points still feels so bad for some of these.
Yeah.
And rare is 50, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, rare is
How
50.
much is rare again?
Rare is 50.
Yeah, like 50. Like that's still.
Yeah.
I think 50 is a good amount because that's still like the consideration point for some of these, but it's definitely one that like at the very least, I am going to test these. I think these are worth exploring now, and I think that there is now a very real conversation to have around these cards.
Yeah, I want to point out also Spirit Kafox before we move on, because I want to make sure we give ample time to talk about the characters ahead of like, we only have like 50 minutes, give or take, left. So Spirit Kafox, this is the one that was changed. People say it's nerfed, right? Because previously it was 80 points to search your deck for a card, duplicate a copy of it, put it in your hand. So you get to just like kind of play it right away. I still think there's some value to be had in this version now. So you don't add a duplicate copy to your hand. You just basically search that card and put it into your hand immediately, but you give it retrieve. And for 50 points, I don't think you can, at least on your supports, overlook this card, because this card is effectively Joker in some cases. Like you just search your deck and get anything for one cost. That's basically Joker. Yeah, it can't pull from the graveyard like Cassius can with the Epiphany, but it's a great setup card for next turn also. You can basically be like, all right, well, I've done my turn. I've got 1 AP left over. Let me play Spirit Kafox to grab Cobalt Light or whatever for next turn. It's go to game retrieve. I pass my turn. Retrieve falls off. It stays in my hand for the next turn. Like it is not only a tutor, but it's also a excellent setup card. So I really think this card is being unnecessarily like, dogged on. I've seen so many threads and posts about how Spirit Kafox is just unplayable garbage now. And I really don't feel like that's the case. I still think it's a very good card. It's actually like near the top of the 50-point cards, I would say, at least in my opinion, right? This one also is one I want to try to build around also, Shellbug. But if I sit here and yap about monster cards, we're going to be here forever.
Yeah, Magna player, shocker. Magna player says I want crystallization. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So there's also the balance adjustment stuff. I'll kind of skip over this because we're going to spend, I think, the vast majority of the time on this. I kind of cover everything else that's going to be still in the patch. So we have these flash of potentials. These are essentially items that you're going to be getting as compensation for the rework of Tressa and Cassius. You're going to get 3 at the start. Others are going to probably be rare rewards, like maybe once per season, or they might be purchasable with real life money. These things are rare, but what they basically do is they allow you to go to your favorite save data and change one of the epiphanies on one card. I highly recommend not using them until you farm most of your season 2 decks and you figure out exactly what you actually want. Don't just go in there after maintenance and just like use these on the first thing. You'll kind of regret it. These are very, very rare, I feel like. So make sure you use them sparingly, right? All right, let's see. What else is still left here? There also is this. This is very similar to the same thing about being able to edit save data. There's this Epiphany adjustment due to balance adjustments. Basically, if a card got changed, right, in the balance adjustment, and you have a Divine Epiphany, for example, Karmic Flames, the skill one that costs 1, and it returns to your hand whenever you kill the target, right? You create a copy in your hand. You could potentially have had Divine Epiphany to reduce it to a 0 cost. Well, the balance adjustment already made it a 0 cost. Therefore, your Divine Epiphany isn't valid anymore. It's not something that exists. So essentially, you get to kind of edit your save data with this kind of change and pick a new Epiphany for it, since the one that you had before doesn't really exist anymore. Just basically a save data editor in very rare instances. That's kind of why I have to cover it here. 0 upgrade system revamp. TLDR on this one, rather than have one tech tree that you kind of build out for all of Zero System, they've divided it into 3 portions. Accessibility, which is all of your like stat upgrades, shop discounts, increased gold gain, things like that. Authority, which is like the ability to reroll epiphanies or reroll the shop, or administrator mode, which increases your ability to get divine epiphanies, like kind of min-max your deck, so on and so forth. These are the 3 things you want to focus on. If you're a newer player just getting into Zero System for the first time, you're going to want to focus on like accessibility for the stats to make it easier, or authority so you can reroll the shop to get specific items or specific neutral cards that you might need to clear the content. If you are a veteran who has already cleared all of Zero System, you will be getting it refunded with this like Chaos Architect thing. It'll just be added right to your inventory. So for people like me or Cosmic or you out there who's been playing since launch, you don't have to worry about it. As soon as maintenance is over, you're just going to be able to get all the currency and just go level the tree all the way up to full right away. So it's cool that they changed it, made it a bit more intuitive for new players who want to focus on one thing rather than being like, well, I can't get the rare upgrade until like I'm 80% done the single tech tree. I think it's a good change. I'll let you field this one if you want to talk about these mythic grade codexes being added to Zero System as well, Cosmic.
Yeah, so this is one that I'm most excited about, and the challenges of how they're going to impact, because this is effectively our new endgame. And I know endgame's not the most proper term for it, because it would, signify that you get like this insane save data and all this stuff. But the one downside about this is that you don't get save data from this. Instead, it is a challenge that you're going to have. Thank you. The trial penalties there. You're going to have these challenges that you sign up for and say, hey, I am going to get some type of, cosmetic effect out of it. And this is really to say like, hey, I farmed all my save data. I've min-maxed my characters as much as I want. What else is there for me to do? And spoiler, you're going to get your ass kicked in the codex. That's basically what this is for. So I do like that they're giving you like, hey, here's a penalty, here's a payoff. And, there's going to be certain additional encounters that happen during the run. But this is definitely one that I'm excited to see where it unfolds towards the more end of the season. But the one important thing I really want to stress here as well is that the only way to get, well, I guess there's technically 2 ways, right? You have to either finish your run to get this as a option, or you have to submit Chaos Orbs as part of the cost. So very long story short, you cannot reset for these. So you will have to complete runs. And I will say that's kind of like an overall theme for this season is the devs have made a lot of quality of life adjustments in the runs themselves to reward you for finishing the run. And oh God, we haven't even talked about the Godhammer yet. I don't think that was in this patch notes.
It's not. Anyways, it's not in the patch notes. Yeah, we'll do it at the end.
Yeah, we'll get to that at the end. But like another thing is that there's now also like meditation points in campfires that like let you re-roll epiphanies. So there's a lot of benefit for like going through the full entire run, where previously you would want to reset and get out of it, right? So for this, it is now going to be like hey, I don't have new save characters to really work on, but like, what can I do? So now this will be like the new endgame challenge mode of going through the different penalties and making sure you're unlocking them. And for me, honestly, the biggest thing is like, okay, now what does a save data look like when I'm just trying to clear content and not go for, these hyper specific epiphanies at the end? So much like difficulty 11, 12, whatever the highest difficulty was, right, in Laboratory Zero, this is now going to be effectively one step beyond that as well with additional difficult modifiers. So this is, hey, really get your team to 60, be full potential, be full everything, and take this as a challenge.
Yeah. And I do like that the trial penalties and divine fates favor specific things. Like, so Dialos' glory here, you take a whole heck of a lot more damage, but your shield gain is increased. So it's very clear that you want to try to tackle this with like a Vanguard. Whereas this one here, right? Change hit count of all attack cards to 1. So maybe you're not going to be wanting to play your Chizuru deck when you're trying to tackle this challenge. So it really forces you to think about what characters you want to bring into these challenges. I really, really like these. You'll get like essentially Chaos Orbs, Chaos Crystals, as well as these kind of like, they're called like clues to the gods' hidden stories. So you'll get like basically some collectibles, some achievements and stuff like that to kind of show off to your friends. Like, hey, I beat this really hard boss. Like, check this out. So I think that's pretty cool overall. They're also adding this ability to kind of toggle which season you're on in the codex. So let's say you've had your fill of season 2 and you want to relive the season 1 glory days. You'll have the ability to kind of toggle on the dimensional tunnels from Forbidden Catalyst. If you do that though, it'll be counted as season 1 save data, so you won't be able to use it for like Great Rift, Nebula Distortion, or any of the challenge content for season 2. But hey, it's cool that it's here. ID card editing is here as well. I think this is cool. I just wish that there was more options like Epic 7, because the artists in Epic 7 can really cook with these ID card editors. This is a little bit, you know, it's nice, but I'm hoping that it'll eventually get more fleshed out in the future, right?
Well, they're adding a lot for Tower as well. Has a couple more stickers and whatnot that's been locked behind further game mode. So I'm sure that there will be more cosmetics for this pretty soon.
Yeah. I'm trying to run through the rest of the patch notes so we can spend some time actually talking about the balance adjustments. So 2 new memory fragment sets. Beast Yearning, most likely the best in-slot option for 9. Not sure yet. Gonna have to test it. You get 30% extra damage when you exhaust an attack card up to 5 times per turn. All right. And then Glory's Reign. When generated or using exhaust skill cards plus 5% damage amount to all allies up to a max of 15. Very clearly designed with Orlea and maybe a future character in mind. Hopefully you didn't, you know, even if you finished the Arc City like me, research nodes, make sure you grab them this week, because there's going to be more things to unlock in the city. New packs. And then I guess finally, like the last thing to talk about is there's a couple of quality of life changes and fixes in the bugs. The one that at least jumps out to me the most out of everything is apparently Renault was bugged and didn't work properly with Narja's Veracity and Predation. So now it does in the bug fix. There you go. So that's the basis for all of the patch, like right, everything that's in the patch notes. We can kind of move on now and talk to the fun stuff, the balance adjustment stuff. This is the really exciting things I feel like for this patch. So yeah,
there's a lot to dive into. It definitely is something for everybody.
Yeah. So how do you feel about the Agony changes?
So I have kind of always phrased this as let's wait for the neutral cards, or like let's wait to see what else is getting added in season 2 that is going to hopefully build up additional stacks of Agony. I will say at a high level, I do appreciate that it's now all a single number, and it's very easy to quickly discern how much you have on there. Like you could always see the pink, magenta, whatever color it was, how much Agony damage you were doing, but it was really hard to see how many stacks you had, if some were falling off soon, what have you. But I'm very curious. Like I told everyone, like I will commit some time later on in the season to like legitimately working on Tressa, because I don't want to believe that she is just like stone dead for her role. Yeah. But the fact that you are losing so much Agony and we can't build it up as fast when we can't like do our infinite dagger spam and all that stuff, like I really do wonder how well the adjustment is going to land. Now they did buff her damage in other places to compensate, but like she's our dot character, like our damage over time character, right? Like she kind of can't do that as well anymore. So yeah, it does feel like she lost part of her identity, but this is one of those things where like you just have to test it. Like someone needs to put in the time to know how good this is really going to be or not. But I think we can all agree at face value, it does feel a little bit bad.
Yeah, at face value, it feels like Agony is weaker. It feels like Tressa is weaker. Like I know people like to talk about Cassius and Tressa are gutted, totally unplayable. I think Tressa is a wait and see. I'll save my opinions for Cassius for later on when we actually get to him. The bigger, more exciting, I feel like, effect adjustment is counterattack. So starting in season 2, when attack is perfectly blocked with a shield, so basically if you take 0 damage from an attack and you fully block it with a shield, the damage on your counters is doubled from 100% to 200% defense-based damage. And now, finally, counters can crit. Magna and Maribel players rejoice. Team Magnabel, rise up. Let's go.
I'm so salty about this one because I literally had to defend myself for like a week straight. And Sue will know this because I messaged him on the side when I was trying to theory craft that Magna deck. I'm like, look, man, like crit does not matter for her. So we're like so deep in the weeds that we had to use the Agony set on Magna, which was technically the most damage. And I'm like, this is so ass to try to build. So it's like, okay, well, now that we can crit, right? Now I have to completely redo my memory fragments on Magna, and now like my video's a liar. But obviously, huge change. We just needed more damage for counterattack. So this is absolutely a step in the right direction.
Yeah, this is really, really big for this character. I'm afraid we're gonna break the cameras real fast, but I'm gonna pull up my Magna here on the side because I need to show off my baby, man. My Magna is like cracked, bro. I am all here for this change. Let me see. Where are we? Over here. Yeah, let's go. Look at her. Isn't she beautiful? Look at that. Look at that beautiful stat line that's covered up by the follow. Oh, it's a prime.
500 just subscribed.
Well, apologies for it being saying it was a follow, Turbo Man. Thank you so much for the prime. I appreciate it. You could use that on anybody on Twitch. I'm thankful you used it here to support me. Thank you so much. But yeah, man, I am so jazzed for these Maribel changes, or not Maribel. Well, just Maribel changes too.
Well,
but
yeah,
Magna, yeah, but like, man, I am like, I'm so ready, man. We are so ready for these changes here. All right, so then they have the balance adjustment per combatant. They divide it into two parts, ones that are unchanged from their first reporting, and then ones that they did change or characters that weren't originally in the patch notes and they added later on. All right, so first one is Nia, and admittedly, despite being a self-proclaimed Rinoa main, I don't play this character that much because I always prefer to play Ray. And I feel like other Rinoa players are like, yo, he's a fake, man. He's a fraud. He doesn't really play this character. Part of the reason for that is I felt like she was really inconsistent with the sustain, which is something I really wanted. It was kind of hard to get the damage amps where I felt like Ray was more consistent. And then just like overall, I think Mute Accent might be my least favorite card in the entire game.
Absolutely.
So yeah, get him, says GH. But yeah, how are you guys feeling? How are you feeling, Cosmic? Chat, how are you feeling about Nia buffs? Because like on paper, these look really, really good. Like I think
it was like, it's fine, right? Like I'm happy for the blanket healing increase that they did for quite a number of characters. But the biggest thing for me is like, Nia was all about Eternal Hunger just being like that loop sequence that we had of being so good at giving us the extra AP, and like now she doesn't have access to that. So like I think she went from everybody can use her if you high roll the right save data to this is now like this is a cool buff for more free-to-play players who can now use her, but she is hard getting benched this season for me personally.
Yeah, Wind Demon, you are basically on the same wavelength. Wind Demon chat saying, I'm more curious about how good No Hunger Nia will be. Yeah, so
yep.
Forbidden Hunger was like the core engine. That plus Adagio is what really let the character pop off compared to other supports. With Forbidden Hunger being locked to Season 1 data, so you're not going to be able to use it for, you know, any of the new content. Yeah, this one remains to be seen. Like, I'll definitely give her a try, especially because I'm going to be playing a lot more Rinoa in the coming weeks. You know, because I haven't played Rinoa much lately, because basically, like, for the first half of Season 1, I was all Rinoa all the time. I just wanted to try the other parts of the roster because I was basically starting to feel like a one-trick pony for everything. But I'm definitely going to come back around to her and farm her pretty heavily in Season 2. So I think when I do that, I'll give this character a fair shake. Then we got my girl Ray after that. Yeah, better main healing potential. That's kind of it. Still arguably like top 3 support in my opinion in the game. I don't know how everybody else feels, but like, I think Cassius was the clear number 1, and then Ray was the clear number 2, and then we got Narsha, and Narsha kind of, you know, pushed Ray down a little bit and said, "Sit down, little sister. This is my time now." So yeah, for people who used to complain Ray wasn't a good sustain or you found her hard to use, hey, maybe now you'll kind of bench Mika and hopefully understand what other people are saying when they say other supports are just built better, built different. Sorry, Mika players. I don't know. I hate Mika, man. I really think that she's like the Angelica of this game. Like, there's a place for her when you have like very expensive decks, right? Like you're trying to play like a Celestial build. It might be worth a consideration. but she just doesn't have the ceiling of other supports, which is why I just don't like using her.
Yeah, like especially with the new divine balance, right? And like source of water just is like not it's whatever at this point anymore. Like we're gonna have so many other cards, and now that we're able to easily select divines that we want, and like Mika is really great early on, but I think she's definitely she's had her time in the spotlight. She's not gonna be here for season 2.
Yeah, I think the only team I really want to still play Mika on is ones that have Hugo, because she's still super good at building skill stacks, building commence the hunt stacks. That's like the one character that I really want still with Mika, but otherwise I'm good. We've kind of already highlighted Tressa when we talked about Agony, so I'm not gonna spend that much time on this. Overall, I don't know how I feel about Curse Gouge, and I feel like the new Shadow Reload 5 to replace the old broken one, right? Was it? No, I'm sorry, Reload 4. This one is what I'm thinking of.
Yep.
I'm not totally sure how I feel about some of these new epiphanies, but overall it is higher damage on most things. So this is like Cosmic. I will at some point dive into the new Tressa. I probably won't get to it until like the tail end of Nine's banner, because there's just so much other stuff to talk about. Like 3 weeks might seem like a long time, but for content creation, 3 weeks is not a lot for me to like make all these videos and like hit every single thing. I'm only one guy, right? I can't like spend all day and all night playing CZN. Oh man,
thing too is like it's all new decks, right? Like we also have to refarm every deck now for season 2 content. So I have to go back and refarm my Veronica stuff. I have to go back and refarm my Narja stuff with season 2 data.
Yep, exactly. So like I'm gonna have to rebuild Rinoa, rebuild Ray, rebuild Yuki, rebuild Rin, rebuild Magna, Maribel, Amir, Narja, Luke, right? Like these are all the characters I regularly play. Serenial. So it's like, oh, damn, that's a lot. That's a lot, right? You're gonna be playing so much CZN, I feel like, over the next like 3 weeks. All right, so next one is Magna. We already talked about the counter attack buff. You guys already know I'm super ready. Basically, overall, all you really need to understand, Glacial Iron Fist across the board, roughly about a 50% damage increase, which is crazy because the move already hit really hard. The big thing to note here with Glacial Iron Fist here, Unique Epiphany number 5, now costs 2 instead of 3, and it's not Exhaust, it is Exhaust 2 now. So this is what I was talking about earlier when we talked about Alsea, right? I think that's how it's pronounced, the partner for 9. If this proves to be a pretty good build around, I could see you playing that partner, but otherwise I think it's probably a pass. Ice Wall change is huge. Big boost to the overall shield, making it at least a viable option, because previously you never really used it. It was kind of like a meme. You only really stuck to the upgrade version of Ice Wall because the shield was so lackluster for a 2 cost. That said, as I pointed out to Cosmic before, even though the new shielding is great, it's probably still just an upgrade, because for some reason we added lead to Ice Wall Unique Epiphany 3, which means that the Nexus value continues to go up, bro. Nexus value continues to go up. I told you guys in How to Play Magna that Parallel Universe Nexus is what she prays to every night when she goes to bed. She absolutely is still praying to it. It is still her one and only, her most cherished possession. Oh,
yeah,
man.
I was shocked that they gave us even more value for it. So in the future, we're gonna have to get a new trinket that somehow, combats for that space, or just like an upgraded Nexus. But my God, now the fact that we get the upgrades in this season, which again, we probably are not gonna have time to get to, but very long story short, you can now upgrade your gear to get even more stats on it. So Nexus, which was a downside for being a blue equipment, is no longer a downside for being a blue equipment. You can upgrade it and make it better. Like, insane.
Yeah, Magna, I think, is definitely the winner of like everything in this patch. Like, there's just you can't convince me she's not. Mechanics were changed to help her out. Buffs on a lot of her most underused skills. Her best item is getting buffed in multiple ways. It's kind of insane. Like, it feels like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I think that she's like the developer's like favorite child, but man, somebody at Super Creative was like, how dare they don't like my cat wolf woman? I'll show them. I'll make her super meta. So
Yeah,
we'll,
so Sue, how does it feel to be Super Creative's favorite? I'm just saying. We gotta call it like it is.
I don't know. I don't know if I am. I feel I sometimes often feel like that's Tristan. I feel like Tristan is the dev's favorite. Oh man. By the way, Tristan, if you're watching from home, we wish you well on a speedy recovery. For those guys who don't know, he had like a minor surgery. He's kind of like, you know, kind of getting back up to speed with physical therapy, so on and so forth. So that's why you might not have seen him upload some stuff, or you haven't streamed a bit recently. We're definitely missing him. So, it's such a good vibe right now being a Mag user since day one, bro. I'm super preach the good word of Mag. I know, dude. Vanguards are just fun, man. I know they're not like the most meta thing, but man, I just love Vanguards. They're so fun. They have so many like hilarious play patterns. Like every time I get attacked by like the enemies with my Magna Maribel team, I just love watching like 5 counters and then like the Shoryuken at the end to just kill them. It feels so funny. It's like, stop hitting yourself, basically, the team. All right. I'll let you field this next one because you have way more experience with this character than I do. This is Haru. I was impressed by these changes.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. Like the biggest thing that sticks out to me, right, is Anchor Shot being able to go up to a max of 10. Now, the one thing I will say is like, yes, her Pulverize, which the combo attack, that is still going to be the best one to use. So the third item on the list there, 320% damage, combo adds 1 hit. Great damage buff. We love to see it. But the first one, bro, you're telling me I can get a 1600% Anchor Shot damage-wise? Holy hell. So if you are a E2 Haru Haver, bro, you're eating so good, right? Like this is obviously a very directed change for the tower and making sure that we have fights long enough to charge up those anchors. But this is all about E2 Haru getting to spam multiple anchors. And by the time you finally get to that boss, bro, you're going to like 2-shot the boss with that much damage out of it, right? Like I wish I had E2 just so I could build this version of Haru to try to see what that end scaling number is going to look like. Because again, you're then going to have Vulnerable, which is instantly going to make this a 3,200% attack. And that's before you get to like her charge up attack or all the other buffs that Haru has. So this is, in my opinion, like the new GOAT of just meme number cards of like, yo, look at my 9,000% damage Haru popping off, right? Like, I am so excited for this one.
I want to see people try to play her with Owen, because Owen's another character we'll talk about with the buffs. Epiphany number 1, in case you guys don't know, on Owen, gives -4 fortitude to the target for 1 turn. Which is basically, it reduces their defense by 80%. They take 80% more damage, like straight up for the whole turn. And unlike Vulnerable, it doesn't go away. You can hit them as many times as possible. I want to see somebody try to make a meme team that loops as many anchor shots under those conditions as possible. I think you might be able to one-shot most bosses with that. I think that would be really, really funny to try.
Yeah, this one's going to be great.
Everyone is telling me in the chat that maintenance was extended, which makes me very, very sad.
No, don't say that. Please. I didn't see a tweet. You got to be joking. No! Wait, no, hold on. There was a tweet, but it's for creators.
Okay.
Is it in the client or something? No, please don't. Chat, don't debate like this. Chat, not like this.
Yeah. Well, somebody said last time it was extended and it wasn't, so fingers crossed. If not, I guess we're just yapping for a bit more until it's actually, yeah. Oh man, time changed to 8 a.m. UTC. When the heck is that?
Oh, yep. Update main extended 3 a.m.
3 a.m. Woo! All right. So that's kind of.
Well, we got changes to talk about though, so we might be able to yap that entire time. So.
Yeah.
Actually, I totally just realized I did not put a pin in my own damn thing, so I need to go pin and make an update in mine in the background really quick.
You are good. Oh man. Low key for that fortitude, I may consider Meilin. Yeah, I want to try it out. Like it was actually like shout outs to Lux in my Discord. He was the person that made me aware that it was -4 fortitude for 1 turn, which is like ludicrous. Right? Time to load up Balatro, I guess? Nah, we're good. Jenna made his career on MT streams. I mean, yeah. Jenna is like that, man. Jenna is the king of the yap. Hey, look, guys, I'm here for y'all. I'll be here till like, what, 6 a.m. my time, 6, 7 a.m. We're gonna be up for a while, right? You know, if I need to, like, you know, we need to, you know, pull up the anime tier list or whatever to make ends meet and figure things out, then we can do it, right? We can do all of that. Okay.
Right.
I will.
Actually, I'm gonna step away really quick to go grab my coffee then, because I'm gonna need some reinforcements. So I'll be right back.
No, I'll probably be there with you. I'll probably go make myself like a small snack or something at some point. We'll kind of take shifts here. I will say though, like, on YouTube, by the way, whenever the actual patch goes live, that is when I will kind of jump onto the second stream. So YouTube wants me to segment streams. It makes it a lot easier for bookkeeping and things like that. So like this conversation with Cosmic is going to be essentially one stream, and then the other stream will effectively be the one that will be after this, the one that has 9 on the thumbnail. If you're already watching on YouTube, as soon as we end this and go into the actual game itself, once it's live, you will automatically be redirected to that, so you don't have to do anything. It'll automatically forward you over to that. Little Sue, don't hit pity. I don't know where this Little Sue thing came from, but like somebody started calling me Little Sue, then I got called Medium Sue, then Big Sue, then Jumbo Size Sue, then Little Big Sue. Like, I don't know who started this, but like it's become like a meme now. Venti Sue, dude. Venti Sue. 20, bro. 20. Average Sue. Chungus Sue. I don't know about Chungus, bro. I don't have that Bugs Bunny energy. All right. So after Haru, the next character to yap about is Calliope. Yeah. So this is my least favorite of all of the Vanguards, largely because I'm a hipster. Because this is the most played Vanguard, so naturally, being a hipster, I don't want to play it because it's popular. I want to play my cool thing that nobody's playing. So yeah, I don't know. Most people have Calliope pre-buff as the best Vanguard in the game. I personally think post Narja patch, but pre-9 patch, Amir is the best Vanguard in the game. I don't know if that's like a controversial take, but Narja with Full Metal Hurricane is, in my opinion, right now the best Vanguard. And then after that, it is a toss-up between pretty much all 3 Vanguards. I think all of them have a pretty solid role right now in the game. Whereas basically, Magda is the best defensive character. Maribel is like the best single target one. Amir is the best like AoE / boss killing one, and then Calliope is kind of somewhere in the middle of all of those. She's kind of like the jack of all trades, master of none version of the character. At least that's how I see the character. I don't have a ton of experience with her. I have only watched a lot of people play her because at one time she was the most played character in the entire game.
Yeah, I love my Calliope. I'm just gonna go off of I'm not even trying to pronounce that. Sorry. Nitz's comment there in the chat, right? Like, Calliope is great because you can just get all the shields for free, which is a huge boost here for the current content in Tower. And Overpowered just being overpowered at just giving you a massive amount of shields. I'll be very curious to see where 9's teams, but I definitely see 9 is going to be the a huge damage focus. Like, I just keep thinking about the extreme hue and the insane damage. Like 1200% damage is the largest single attack that we're getting. So there's gonna be some fun numbers to be had with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say 9 is closer to Amir in terms of like her role on the team than like Calliope. Like, I always see Calliope and Magda as like the true tanks of the game. Like, if you really want to tank, these are the best ones. And Maribel can do like an impression of those, but her shields I don't think are quite as good as the other twos. Where Maribel really excels is the fact that she just has absurd single target bursts if you could set it up properly. I think that's like kind of like her big niche. All right, so we'll see a lot of the changes here to Calliope. it's basically just damage across the board for like vulture ejection, and also shield increases for overpower. Overpower was probably, I think, her overall weakest card. Like, it's a 2-cost shield that just does a little bit of tenacity damage. Yeah, it's not really like anything super special, at least in my opinion. Like, the main core things with this character I've always seemed to be vulture ejection, great sword of Kila, and rally. Like, those 3 cards are just all very, very strong overall. So getting more damage, more shields on vulture ejection is obviously going to be very, very good. No doubt in my mind, this character is going to be played a lot with the changes. She's just always been generically good. With these changes, I think people will kind of pick her back up again because she'll feel like she has more impact and harder content. I'm probably still not going to play her. I'm just being honest with you guys. Like, I didn't really care for her much in the beta. I don't know. There's just something about her that I just don't really click with. I don't really vibe with. It's just not my style of character, I think.
What is your go-to tower team then right now for like the last stages that we had up?
Narja, Amir, and Veronica. That's the teams that I've been playing. Veronica is just purely there to just shuffle through the deck as fast as possible. And then I just am basically going Domain of Veracity to amplify the defense-based damage. And then I pop the, Boundless Hunger that gives the extra defense-based damage for the turn. And then I just Full Metal Hurricane. And my Domain of Veracity not only increases defense, it also gives 2 vulnerability to all enemies. So I just literally just go, yeah, I just cleave through the team. Sometimes I do so much damage that I actually kill myself via thorns. So for those cases, I'll just, before I look, I'll be like, well, I one-shot the boss, but it one-shots me. I'll just pop Amir's ego skill, or I'll just stack up enough metal ahead of time.
Yep.
Yeah, so like, it's not like, I can't auto it like your comp. My comp is very much like I have to kind of set everything up properly, but once I do, it's just like, you know, Amir go burn, just kill everything. Yeah. So,
but
yeah.
Again, I think that's the selling point for like how insanely good Narja was for just allowing all these different strategies to come online. So yeah, I wanted to go back and do a Full Metal Hurricane build. It's just I ran out of time with season 1 and knew I had to refarm it anyway. So I was like, I'll just do that in season 2.
Yeah, I'll pull up on my stream here. For those of you guys who have not seen, a lot of you guys who are regulars, you have seen my current Amir deck. Here's the current Amir deck. Like, this deck is just absurd.
Oh, damn. All right. Yep.
Yeah, like, it's just absurd. Like, so the first attack I play each turn gets 25% attack. I get the plus 25% from the cube. I got the plus 12% multiplicative body piece. Yeah, I've got 3 regular hurricanes that are the damage variant, and then I've got the upgrade to get morale and resolve every turn. Yeah, the only thing I don't really like about this is I wish I could change the hovering metal to the upgrade. I might do that with one of my flashes just to keep using it for tower. Otherwise, I'll just go and farm it. We'll see how easy it is to actually farm stuff with the new season. But yeah, like 4 Full Metal Hurricane build is kind of like the way. It's really strong.
Yeah, and again, the fact that we get all the upgrade stuff for the equipment too is going to be just insane for powering up characters. Like, if nothing else, like I think there was something to be said about people missing out on their season 1 save datas, because while you can use it for weekly bosses and stuff, right, you won't be able to use it for any of the challenges, but we are getting the seasonal challenges, but we are getting such a damage increase just because of save data changes, because of the gear and equipment changes. Like, your characters are going to be so much more powerful in season 2 compared to what we have in season 1, that it's going to really be worth refarming some of those older saves.
Yeah, essentially you're getting refunded like 40 points on every save data for the most part. And the difference between 150 and 160 points in a save data is already massive. So now imagine if you're effectively your old 160 saves could have been 200. Do you know how much more you could, like, juice you could squeeze out of that? That's like an extra dupe, or 2 extra Divine Epiphanies, or 2 extra common cards. Like, you could have like 2 extra rallies or 2 extra gear bags or whatever have you. So you're going to be able to get these like crazy strong decks, I feel like, in season 2 compared to season 1. So even though it's daunting that you're going to have to refarm a lot of stuff, hopefully, if the quality of life changes are as good as we think they are, it shouldn't feel like a burden. It should feel fun, and all of your decks are going to feel powerful when you kind of build them right. Somebody was asking, what do we think the 9 set would be? I already mentioned it earlier. It's the new set, the new memory fragment set is most likely going to be it. If it is not, then my assumption is that 222 being Executioner's Tool, Tetra's Authority, and then your choice of last 2P set is probably going to end up being the best option, right? Basically, what I'm trying to say is, pull this up here. If the new set isn't good, if the new set ain't good, it's going to look like this. If new set bad, you're probably building like this. So, all right. So let's shuffle this over here. All right, so where were we at? We talked about Kalipe, obviously strong, generically good. Hugo, who is a character that was super popular at launch and kind of fell off, and I'll be real with you, I don't understand why. Because straight up, I was late to the party on Hugo. I have E4 Hugo. The game kept giving me him, and I was like,
damn.
I guess I should build him and try him out and see what all the hubbub is about. I think he's like legit, like the best or like second best off DPS in the game. Like he is effectively like a different version of Veronica, right? I think he's a more aggro version of Veronica. Like, so if you want a off damage dealer that can draw cards, Hugo can still be that for you. He just doesn't draw as many cards as Veronica, and then obviously save data with uniques and stuff favored Veronica in season 1. So I think Hugo in season 2, I think will probably be, at least in my opinion, I'll be using him probably more than I use Veronica, right? Like I used a lot of Veronica out of necessity in season 1. I could definitely see myself playing a lot of Hugo in season 2.
Yeah, the biggest thing I think here with Hugo and now how easy it is to get the right divines, I'm a huge fan of his quick fix that draws 2 cards and also just does a lot of damage. So if you are running a skill-heavy team and you have the extra resources to spam his Lightning Dingoes on top of just drawing 2 for free, like his new deck with the refinements that we're going to have in season 2 is a very, very serious contender. Like, if you're not doing AoE content, like where Giant Ballista would be, you know, preferred for Veronica's stuff, like, Hugo is very quickly going to become an MVP for me as well.
Yeah. Somebody was saying he's strong, but we already have harder hitting DPS. See, that's the thing. Everybody keeps thinking Hugo is a main damage dealer. Hugo is not a main damage dealer. Hugo is an off damage dealer. He draws cards and passively deals damage with your main damage dealer. You play him with you play him with like Serenial, right? Serenial is your main DPS. Well, he augments all of your Serenial's damage with Lightning Dingoes, and he gives you a steady supply of cards with the quick fix that draws, or I forget the name of the card. It's the one that has like the robotic dingo on it. That draws 2 cards as well.
Yep.
Like he just gives you a steady stream of offense and kind of, you know, soups up the damage on your team. Like I really like that character. I think he's really, really good. I think that like Luke, Hugo, and Mika is one of the most fun teams I've ever played in the game. I think it's like very fast paced, a lot of action, a lot of hit counts. You're kind of zooming through your deck. You have lots of play extension lines. It's a very satisfying thing to actually play. And with these changes, making it so that I'm not locked into like 1 or 2 epiphany choices because it didn't have initiation. Again, he's just going to feel so much better to play. Like all of his epiphany choices being unleashed is gonna be super, super good. Because previously you were only playing the base version or like I think Epiphany 4. That was basically all you could really play. So now 2, 3, and 5 come online.
And I know I'm gonna get flack for saying this as the Veronica main, but like I just really want to stress the fact from a pound for pound damage, Hugo will outscale Veronica in the right team comps because Lightning Dingo, when you actually get the extra attack damage going, is going to do far more damage than you're ever going to get out of Ballistas unless you are doing like the hyper focus Kulowski plus Ballista damage build, which is not ideal anyways. So Hugo is really just doing more single target damage overall while still giving you the draw effect that Veronica has. Again, you're still going to want divines in both situations, but Hugo is going to be better for single target. So I just want to like make that very clear that I still love using Veronica because as you're going through chaos, right, your ballistic damage is just free. But if we're in a spot where I can build the perfect Hugo deck and I can build the perfect Veronica deck, Hugo is going to win 9 out of 10 times, assuming we have the skill cards from the other combatants to support it. And that is a really compelling spot to be in for his kit.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't even want to say like he's slept on because I think people know he's good, but just it feels like people stop playing him, and I don't really understand, like, at least for like certain content, why. Maybe like if I'm trying to min-max certain stuff, sure. Or like Great Rift, he might not be the best fit. But like even for like Nebula Distortion, I feel like he's still really good. Like I feel like he's good for Tower. He's just good for a lot of content. It's because he's a furry. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I just think he's a good character, man. I think Rift makes him fall, but that's the thing we were talking about, lamenting earlier in the stream about Great Rift. Great Rift is manufactured content to force you to play a team of the devs choosing, which feels really bad because you're gonna be like, you know, if Selena wasn't the best in slot option for Great Rift last season, I don't think you would have had people talk so highly about her. It's like, well, the fight requires you to play Selena, otherwise you're never gonna get a high score, right? Like, so it's kind of like the character's artificially inflated, right? Obviously, Cassius and Serenia are like the two best characters in the game, even independent of Great Rift, so it is what it is. All right. Next up is Yuki. This is probably, alongside of Magna and Renoa, my most played character. I really like Yuki, and I will be the first one to say I think that these buffs are just fine. I don't know how everyone else feels. I feel like these are all right buffs. To be fair, I already felt Yuki was better than most people did in the community. I already thought she was, you know, in the top like 1/3 of the cast. Like I wouldn't put her in like top 5, but like I would put her probably in top 10. The game only has like 26 characters, right? I'd put her in top 10. So some buffs is good. I'm just really surprised how tame the numbers are compared to some of the other combatants. I get it.
Yeah.
They're AoE damage moves, so 20% damage increase when you consider it could hit 5 units at the same time is actually 100% damage increase. But like overall, like again, some of the numbers are pretty tame. I think that the big things to look at least for me, Flash Slash Unique Epiphany 3 might be slightly better. Actually, it's still a 2 cost, so no, not really. I was gonna say, I still don't know if I would consider Flash Slash as like my primary dupe target over something like Iceberg Cleave, because like Iceberg Cleave is like 180 for a 1 cost with extra 1 hit on inspiration, so it's a 360. So like even this, right, the 1 cost Flash Slash Unique Epiphany 1, I would need a specific Divine Epiphany for me to really want to consider it as a dupe target. The main one I think that you could really look at as like new and interesting is Epiphany 4, which was previously her only real single target DPS move. Huge increase to damage, right? Instead of the fact that it would go up to 500% now, you're getting like what, like 770, if my math is correct. So it's a pretty substantial increase in damage for this thing overall. So that's kind of, this is the single target thing that they were talking about. In addition, Trickery Strike here, the worst Epiphany in my opinion on the character, which is Trickery Strike 3. All it does is just enable inspiration for all the cards in your hand. Good players will do this even without needing this as a handicap. They just tacked on this extra effect here at the end. For 1 turn when using a card of this unit with enabled inspiration, 100% damage to random enemies, which sounds bad on paper, but if you play Yuki for bossing, there's only 1 target, so basically every card you play is going to be an extra 100% damage on that boss. Same thing here, Freezing Blade, all of them are buffed across the board, so your Bato spam does a bit more. But the big one I think to look at here is Freezing Blade number 3, which was again the single target focused Freezing Blade. Instead of being 130% on a random enemy, it's now 120% x2 on a random enemy, which is a huge jump in damage, right? So this is kind of these 3 epiphanies here: Freezing Blade 3, Trickery Strike 3, and Flash Slash number 4 here. These are basically the single target build options for Yuki. if I could get around to it at some point, I will remake my Yuki guide from scratch because I'm not super thrilled with it. So I'll have an updated guide for her at some point in the next like 3 weeks, give or take, when I get around to it. Yeah, I'm getting no sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's what we do. It's what we do.
Yeah, if you have anything else you want to add, that's fine. I play this character a lot. Like, I pretty much play this character every single day.
No, I mean, I think you cover everything well there. It's just, I know people want a damage buff, so I'm happy to see just some type of number increase, but kind of same thing. Like, she was already just fine where she was at, so it's like, I'll take anything on top of it, and that's totally okay.
Yeah. Unneeded buff, she was already strong, but I'll take them. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's just like, I'll take them. In the, like, I know I'm going to get so much hate for saying this, but like, Serenial was so far and away the best damage dealer in the game, and that I personally considered, and hear me out on this before you villainize me. I personally felt that Yuki was in contention for the second best damage dealer in the game because she's the only damage dealer I could realistically ever see myself picking up over Serenial. Serenial is so much better than every other character in every situation that the only situation where Yuki kind of edges her out is when you're fighting 3 or 4 enemies. So if I'm in a situation where I have to fight 3 or 4 enemies at a time, Yuki might be better, but it's even then not guaranteed. Like, Serenial is just that strong that even then Serenial might still end up being the best overall character in the situation. So again, no matter what other character I looked at, Luke, Rinoa, Kairon, whatever you want to say, like, pick a damage dealer, it's very hard to consider that character over Serenial. That's how much better Serenial is compared to the rest of the cast. So I was just looking for when is a situation when I wouldn't pick Serenial, and the only one I could come up with was when I'm fighting like 4 enemies at a time and I need a ton of AoE spam. And Yuki's the only character that checks that box.
In which, to be fair, we have a couple Chaoses that do really care about that. And of course, we'll have to wait and see what the new world is for. Actually, wait. We didn't get the element for the new Chaos, did we?
No.
Now that I just said, I don't think we did.
I didn't think we did either. So we're saying live Mei Lin reaction. All right, so I guess this is, we talked about this earlier in the stream. I guess this is my time to insert my Mei Lin reaction. So even with Mei Lin and her ridiculous spam, Serenial is still a better single target damage dealer. Right? So I don't buy it. Also, a lot of people were upset that Tressa and Cassius got nerfed / reworked, but people were not upset that Mei Lin did not get like a rework or something like that. And honestly, when the game first came out, I agree with you guys. At seeing all the posts with Mei Lin, I was like, man, this character is like giga broken. When are they gonna nerf this character? She seems to just stomp everything. And then once I actually started to play her for like a week, I realized the character is kind of not good unless you can build the storm deck. Like, if you can't build the move deck that generates a bunch of attacks and ends it with a Spire that gets an extra hit for each card played, the character's kind of bad, kind of mid in a lot of scenarios, at least in my opinion. So like, if she's going to be a one-trick pony and that one trick is really strong, then like, bless you, like, that's it. Let her have that thing. Cause like, if you don't let her have that and they nerf that, like, that's all she's got. I think that's the whole character. I think Mei Lin will zoom when we get the red support unit. That's probably true, Warbolt. I will wait until that comes out. When a new support comes out that's specifically tailored towards her, I might rethink my tune. But as it stands right now, this character does one thing and one thing really, really well. And in a post-Serenial world, I say we let her have it. Like, let her have it. I literally just finished talking about them, Zagyao. Like, literally just talking about them. But like, just as a quick recap, they're fine buffs. They're not like gonna set the world on fire. The big things to focus on are Flash Slash Epiphany 4, Trickery Strike Epiphany 3, and Freezing Blade Epiphany number 3. These are the ones you want to focus on if you want to build a single target Yuki. Otherwise, the cards you are already playing are just slightly better. I don't know if you have any, I don't know if you have any other things to add Cosmic on top of my like Maylin rant. I don't know how you feel
Nope,
about it.
that is all you. That is.
He's like, I ain't touching that. I don't want the Reddit mob to come after me.
No, I don't. I definitely don't disagree though. I like let her do the storm thing and cool. That's what she can do.
All right, I'll let you field this next one because I had an opinion on Rin a week ago. I have since changed my opinion on these buffs. I originally was not a fan of them. I didn't think they went far enough. People have convinced me otherwise since, and now seeing the specifics, I think this character is much better. But I'm curious to see how you feel about Rin's changes.
So this is one of the times that I have to say that this is one of the 2 characters I do not have.
Oh.
So I have exactly no opinion on Rin. I have no idea what she needed or where her damage was at. I just know that she was a fan favorite. So more buffs is yay, right?
Yeah.
We can only go up from there.
Yeah, so I originally was like gaining Dark Stance on Destruction is something she needed, but they didn't give me the specifics before. I thought it was going to be basically like draw 1 card of this unit and then Dark Mist Stance, decrease cost of the card by 1, then gain Dark Mist Stance. That's how I thought it would have worked. Instead, what they gave me was, well, it's draw 1, get the Dark Mist Stance effect no matter what, then gain Dark Mist Stance. And I was like, oh, that's massive for usability. Yep. So yeah, that is a big change. I think that's one of the big things that she did overall, because right now, the move, she's like Maylin, the move version of Destruction is just better than I feel like all the other ones. So these ones kind of open up new build possibilities. I really like this first one. You know, I always liked Epiphany #1, the draw 2, and then gain the shield, especially because I always seem to get divine epiphanies of it with 1 AP. So this one, I've been a fan of. Getting Dark Mist Stance makes it not feel so bad though, so that's really, really good. Dark Mist Inner Art, it's a fine damage buff. I don't think it's gonna set the world on fire. It feels closer to like Yuki, where you're like, cool, it's great that I have it, but it's not really a substantial boost to damage, at least in my opinion. Now, the big one here, Black Dance, I originally thought this was a bad change. I thought this was like, it didn't go far enough. It was really not good. And I still thought Black Dance was objectively her worst card. And that's when every single Rin player let me know in the comments section how wrong I was and how terrible I was at the character. And I'm like, guys, chill. I've been playing the character for like 3 days. Don't roast me. Don't kill me.
I just realized, so doesn't this go back to her beta version then? Because I think this is something that like where I did play her in the beta, but I know they changed a lot part of her kits, but like I am a huge fan of removing this cap, actually. I missed this in the first read pass.
Yeah, it had a cap, and I was like, bro, I can't even hit the cap in the first place. I only get like 2 or 3, I get like 2 to 3 hits. You don't even hit 5. Like, who cares if the cap's removed, guys? Like, this doesn't change anything. It's not that good. And then everyone was like, oh, you're not a real Rin player. Real Rin players, real Rin players play her with Orlea and have like 7 skills at all times. And I was like,
shit.
And I was like, oh, that one character I don't have and, you know, can't comment on. So yeah, I found out that apparently real Rin players just play her with Orlea and dunk everything from orbit.
Oh, man.
So yeah.
We're fake CZN players, neither of us having Orlea getting caught in fucking 4K again.
Holy
shit.
Yeah, maintenance did get extended, unfortunately. It feels really bad. But yeah, no, I did. If Smilegate had a pack that was like, pay $50 or $80 to get an Orlea, I would just buy it. Well, I would just buy it just for the content. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, my biggest wish for tonight when the game comes out of maintenance is that I lose the 50-50 to 9 and get Orlea. That is actually my biggest want. More than anything, I want to lose the 50-50 and get Orlea.
I love how we are both in the same position of wanting to lose the 50-50 and get Orlea.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think Orlea is, I actually also think that Orlea is best in slot. It's not even just me who feels that way, by the way. It's the devs feel that way. You know how I know? Because here's the challenge dungeon team. The challenge dungeon team is Orlea and Narjan 9.
I didn't even notice that.
Yep. Look, here's the other challenge dungeon team. Orlea, Narjan 9. They know. The devs know. They know what's up. Yeah, I really want Orlea, man. Oh, feels so bad. Losing 50-50, what is this, Enfield? Bro.
Man, we lose our 50-50s here too. Don't be acting like that.
I was gonna say, bro, Enfield is not pulling a 6-star at all, bro. What are you talking about? With those rates? At least that was my opinion, dude. I rolled like 4 multis, I got nothing. I was like, oh, this is how it feels. I'm 80 away from actually getting a 6-star. Granted, I heard there's like soft pity or like breakpoints somewhere along the line, but I didn't get far enough in one night for that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to derail this too much, but statistically speaking, Enfield has a much better gacha system than CZN, but the trade-off is we get a lot more free pulls over here and whatnot. So, you know, I will lose a 50-50 and be it as it may because we get a shit ton of rewards. So,
Yep.
it is what it is, but obviously I wish everyone to win their 50-50s here on the CZN side because it always does feel bad if you hit a, well, yeah, except for me and Sue. Everyone else, you know, we give us your bad luck. Send all the bad energy this way, yo. Let us take it because we need to lose a 50-50. Although I swear to God, if I get E4K run, I am going to lose it because that is the one that I keep getting.
Yo, dude, I have E4 Magna and E4 Hugo at this point. Somebody was asking, there was a question that we just got here. I'm trying to see where it was. It was like, is it worth it? Should they get, where was it? Is it okay to skip Narja? Genuine question. Thanks. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that banner is over. You've already missed the window. If I could have chosen Narja versus 9, I think you probably should have pulled for Narja. That's just my opinion. She just seems more broadly usable. Just seems like a stronger character in more situations. But we will see. 9 feels a lot more specialized. You have to kind of have a good idea or like a team in mind with her. I don't really think she's like a character you could just slot on any team.
Yeah, I'm super biased. If people don't know that, Veronica's like my main. My second thing is I'm a Narja main. Like I'm actively putting out offers to be like, I want to get the Narja standee that people are getting for like their one of the giveaways they're doing.
The acrylics, yeah. Yeah,
I got a spot for it. I need Narja to come home, man.
Yeah, I don't need no acrylics, bro. I just got this standee of Haruhi on my desk. It's been there for a really long time. People who watch you for E7 know that my handle is Tsuzumiya. So, yeah. How many crystals for pity again? 11,200? If my mental math is right, for like the hardest of hard pities. But it's like, realistically, it's probably closer to like 10,000 gems. Because of how the soft pity scaling of the game works. It's like, it's almost impossible to spend like the full 11k, right? 22.4? Am I wrong? All right, is my math suck? All right, let's check. How bad is my math?
No, is it one? It's 160s. God, now we're all forgetting like what is? I forget what the rate up pity is.
Oh,
Wind 70, not 80.
Wind Demon is the full 70 and then lose the 50-50 and then 70k. Yeah. So if you want the hard pity, it's like roughly 20k for the hardest of hard pity. Because again, once you hit the 63rd summon, the odds that from pull 64, it's from pull 63 onwards, your odds of it being a 5-star are like so high. I don't think I've ever seen anyone go to the actual 70th pull. Like, it's almost always between, like, pull 63 and 66 is when you'll hit the 5-star. Like, 67 plus is like, man, you're really unlucky. Like, you're just really unlucky. It's like, pull 67 is like a 70-something% chance to hit.
Yeah, if you're really trying to min-max, you technically should be doing singles after that 60, assuming that you have like an even 0, right? 0 to 60, do all your 10s. As soon as you get to 60, just start doing singles after that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the practice I do too. Once my pity has less than 10 left, or like it's 10, I always single from that point onwards. Oh my god, stop with the 6-7. the brain rot, bro. The brain rot. It's Yeah. Second maintenance is over. I may just jump straight into story and unlock Verne. That's my plan for right now. My plan is basically going to be roll for 9, build the character, read the story with you guys, and then do like a chaos run or 2 and kind of bounce out after that and go to bed. That's kind of it. There'll be plenty of time for more season 2 stuff in the tomorrow, especially because spoiler alert, Smilegate is sponsoring me to cover season 2 tomorrow. So
yeah.
You guys can come back and chill with me tomorrow night as well. I'll be here pretty much all of tomorrow night.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say it once again. Super Creative's favorite. You heard it here.
Sure. Nice. They give out, like I said, any new codes. I don't think we do codes for this game.
No, we don't get codes. It just all goes to your mail automatically, which, by the way, fucking slops to Enfield on that. Like, I kind of forgot that was, like, the normal in gachas, and, like, I had to go track down, look on Twitter, look on Reddit, you know, ask in a couple Discords just to make sure I get all the codes and everything, and, like, CZN's like, yeah, bro, I got you. Just put in the mailbox. You're good. Yep. Like, oh my God, it is 2026. Why am I doing codes, bro?
Yeah, especially because like certain platforms like iOS, you can't use codes, right? Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but iOS, like, it's against Apple's terms of service, so it's like you can't use it. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes just like super awkward. Oh, dude, Nikkei codes are so miserable, dude. I can't. Yo, Char, thank you for the raid. How are you doing? I listened to your new song. I thought it was really good. I really liked it. I really, really liked it. If you guys have not already, make sure you look up Spacebar Char on YouTube. She does like covers of like they're parodies of popular songs, but they're like with a gacha twist, right? So the one she just did was for Chaos Zero Nightmare. Sick. Yeah, so she did Stand by Eminem, but all of the lyrics are about, what's his name? About Chaos Zero Nightmare. Actually, Char, can I actually, like, show that on stream? Would you be all right if I, like, showed that video on stream for people? I think people would really, really, really enjoy that. All right, this needs to be done. Hold on.
Yeah, so I'm going to find out in real time, too, apparently.
Oh, this video is so sick, dear devs. I thought this was so good. Yeah, Char is a gem. I'm gonna just like let this play.
I'm a full screen on my side too.
Yeah. This is such a good video.
Smilegate's answered all my prayers with Chaos Zero Nightmare. Been waiting for this game since last year, but my wallet's not prepared. Even if I wailed, I would still get dupes, but I wouldn't even care. It reminds me that I'm captain there. I'm captain there. Yeah. Dear devs, I want to say I love your content. I wrote on Stove and Reddit and left a YouTube comment. You blessed me with an extra hero on the beginner rate up. 2 in the same temple. Thanks for giving me the hookup. I'm almost done saving my anchors for the new combatant. So, if I don't get her, you know I'ma be real saddened.
Yup, anyway, it should have been me.
With your help, I know I can pull her. I love her design, but mainly the way her chest is uncovered. I heard she's Chaos Dungeon too. I'm glad.
She knows.
I think I'll see.
She just like me for real.
The new disaster's releasing soon, and I'll need to have her. I've even got the date on my calendar for her banner. I think I'll get a body pillow of her too, for that matter. Anyways, I wish upon a star that she comes home. For her, I'll give you all the rescue anchors that I own. Sincerely yours. Hope she's not too far. This is Char.
Yep.
Yes, there's maintenance tonight.
That was the first night. October 23rd.
I need to touch grass outside. But I just wanna play.
Good old me.
Yep, that's us right now. Yeah, it is true.
We're back again.
It reminds me that
the Wolverine meme.
She's coming home. Dear devs, I see I lost my 50-50. I was gonna pull for extra copies, but I hit the hard pity. That's okay.
We just talked about that too.
Enough pulls for next time. Just no more dupes, please. In fact, dupes should be a crime. I've been losing my dice rolls lately. Hope that's not by design. I upgrade gear every day, so my materials have declined. I gotta keep restarting so I can remove 2 cards. One more copy have to be so hard. I
Yup.
farmed chaos for hours for a new Serenial deck. I really
this
like
is
the
so
way you tied
fucking
ribbons
peak.
across your chest.
Yeah, it is.
My epiphany is a
Holy
real bad
hell.
though. I'm hoping for some luck. Would be a real shame if I were forced to send more trucks. I'm still getting mail. If
E7
I mailbox
joke.
For more anchors. Whoever designed that event, I'll be sure to thank her. If I don't have those pulls, I won't be able to hit pity. P.S. Don't make me wreak havoc on Arc City. I'm up at 3 a.m.
Yeah, bars for real, for real. Yeah, I agree.
Just one more run, I swore. Hunting for a Narja deck. The bar is on the floor. Even if I get the right epiphany,
That's the other thing,
one
like,
that I
season
am
2,
looking
Well,
for.
I'm gonna be back to losing
It
sleep over chaos
reminds
runs.
me I need to stay
That's like one more run,
Yep.
man.
One more run is,
one
yep.
run.
We're all gonna be there.
Mister, I won't let you win 50-50s. I said next time I pity that it won't be very pretty. My skills never crit and the dog ate my best card. How am I supposed to win when I get these memory shards? I died to the dog walker when you said you'd make it easy. Why is Mika's Whirlpool my divine epiphany? I went into the tunnel, but these forbidden cards are weak. I got the credit and stress events, so this run's looking bleak.
All the
Why resolve
Whirlpool
epiphany when this team has no shields? I found no mutant sample here, so now I need to yield.
Yup.
Every time she says,
Not here.
I swear it drives me crazy. You gave Chizuru 1 AP? Oh, come on, that's just lazy. I farm for weeks so I can get the best grade Rift high score. You're telling me next season I'll have to grind once more? I love this game. I would have played forever, I admit. I'm big mad now. I'm done. Now I quit. I deleted the game at last.
Yeah.
And now
I told you, this is a- It's really well thought out. The lyrics are super, super good. It's pretty peak, right?
Oh, like, this is insane. Like, I knew that because you're gonna bring up it was already gonna be good, but this is like blowing away my expectations. Like the level of care that went into this, and so many like deep cut references.
It's the devs. We're
Holy
glad to hear
shit!
from you. We take feedback seriously from other players too.
All right, I just gotta highlight this because this made me laugh so hard.
From you. We take
Feedback. Can you please buff Renoa's chest size for the love of God? I'm asking for the last time as the video editor for the feedback. And then you see what the devs say? The devs are like, whoa, this is worthless.
other players too. Soon you will be able to re-roll epiphanies. Reward multipliers will make simulation a breeze. And Chaos Assault, you can play a new roguelike mode. We reworked Zero System to lessen the farming load. New units will be coming soon. Here's a glimpse of 9. We have a feeling you will fall in love with her design. We're making improvements every day. We won't drop the ball. It's been a day since you quit, but wait, did you just reinstall? We'd be sad to see you go, but looks like you're coming back. In fact, you swiped your credit card to buy a few more packs. Looks like you're grinding again. We suggest you take a rest. The center is so full because all your combatants are stressed. You've been playing for hours. We don't want to cause you strife. Excessive gameplay can cause problems in your daily life.
That's like one of my favorite bars in the entire one.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I told you, it's so peak. It's so good. Oh, yeah. If you guys who don't know, again, please go follow Char. She's so good. All of her songs are just incredibly good. I love her covers. They're so funny. The Epic 7 one about Mort Fear. She has like a line where talking about Mort Fear where it's like cosmetic and it like doesn't, you fear everybody and they all snap out immediately and kill you. I'm like, yeah, that's the most relatable thing ever. That happened to be every single time in that Guild War meta where you needed to have Mort on offense, where it was like the afternoon soak flan meta. Holy crap, bro. It's the most relatable thing ever. I was like, just, that's it. I'm done. Like, get me out. Like, this is exactly how I feel right now. Yeah,
Also,
no.
that video reminded me, and maybe I'm just losing my mind over here, but like, weren't we also supposed to get the skill trees in this update, or is it just the new triple tree part for the Zero System?
I think it's just the triple tree, yeah. Yeah, fear is not real. Yeah, that's what I said. Fear is a cosmetic. Dude, I just think of like, when I say cosmetic now, dude, I think of my buddy One Shot. He used to say this when we play Marvel Rivals together and we had like teammates that are too heavy to carry. He'd be like, yo, bro, our teammates are cosmetic, bro. They're not real. They're not real humans. What did I mean? Yeah, it was just, we watched Char's newest thing, right? Her new song. And it's just a joke from the video. Like, I don't think Renoa's chest size needs a like a buff at all, but it's just funny that it was like a thing because, especially with all the stuff going around the community today about 9, right? it's just funny to laugh at that, you know, the absurdity of it all. 9 nerf, big Sag. I mean, I guess, yeah. I don't have a leg to stand on this one. Like, I could go either way. I play, you know, whatever, your standard video game. I don't need to goon, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm on like my 4th playthrough of Stellar Blade right now, and I play Nikke every day, so take it or leave it. If you've watched me stream lately, why are you afraid of cigarette? Wake up. Bro, Joe, I feel like I would be nervous. I'd be biting my nails watching you play against Swift Flag Bear Cigarette, because knowing you, if the fear is cosmetic, we're smooth sailing. If the fear is not cosmetic, I'm ready for a crash out of biblical proportions. All right, good luck to you as well, Char. Thank you for the raid. The drama is so overblown. Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, Sue says all that, but his love for Luna says otherwise. Look, okay, I just happen to like dragons, okay? I like dragon girls, all right? That's you guys know what where I'm a simple man. Neuron activation is punch girl, sword girl, dragon girl. If it's one of those things, neuron activation. Oh no, Sue has a Smilegate shill /S, yeah. Nah, dude, I definitely am not a Smilegate shill. Trust me. Trust me. As like, as an aside, I'll share this with you guys. They asked me, my opinion on something for E7 as like feedback from as a content creator recently, and they're like, you can give us your honest opinions, you don't have to hold back. And my response as soon as they said that was, cool, the state of PvP is quite literally dog shit. That I literally told them that. I was like, cool, it's bad. Yeah, so there you go. I pulled Erica twice, which is Magnus' partner. Would that work on 9? Erica will work on 9 if you go specifically for the ambush build, but otherwise, I don't think I would play it. You're probably better off playing Wilhelmina. What's overblown? Long story short, the lobby screen for 9 used to show more underboob, and they basically covered it up so it doesn't show as much underboob. It's still there, but it's just not as much. And G-Clef on the official stream said that they had received feedback from some players that maybe the lobby arts were a bit too risque and they were getting embarrassed showing it in public, so they'll take it under consideration. Not an acknowledgement that they censored anything or anything was changed, but because now the art of 9 has less underboob and that comment from G-Clef, people are just like, they're censoring my characters. Like, there's gonna be less fan service, you know, less cleavage. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I think this all goes back to like there's surveys in game that people can give feedback about, and that's clearly where they're getting a lot of this from. But I had also found out through my own, like, because I called out the censorship. I gotta use air quotes for that on my end as well. And people were like, "Oh my God, there's surveys that we could have filled out to give feedback." I'm like, "Yeah, fill those out if you want to actually like impact the game." Because at least coming from my background and the other times I've had the chance to work with devs, like they take player surveys very, very seriously and will actively make changes if they see enough comments coming in. So if there's one thing that you take away from the stream tonight, or you think about in the future, if there is a player survey for CZN, take a minute to fill it out. Give your very honest feedback, because that can shape the game in the future.
Yeah, this reminds me of another similar, like, adjacent piece of gacha drama right now. Nikke. Right, so if you guys who don't know, on February 13th, Nikke will be collaborating with the anime Lycoris Recoil from a couple years ago, Lyco Rico for short. They put out surveys all the time asking for feedback and what collabs people want to see. And Resident Evil was a popular choice. So for Halloween, they got Resident Evil, and some people were outraged about it. It's like, bro, they picked what won in the survey. It's not like Epic 7's any different. Overlord won, or was like second place on one of the surveys. That's why we got Overlord, because that's what the vast majority of players wanted. It might not be what you wanted, but yeah, like anybody who's watched Lycoris Recoil knows it's a pretty much a perfect fit for Nikke. What is Nikke about? Cute girls shooting guns. What is Lycoris Recoil about? Cute girls shooting guns. It's like it's a no-brainer. It is literally a no-brainer collab. Yeah, there we go. All right, I guess we can kind of get back on target for like the 3 people that are like, what do Cosmic and Sue think about Chizuru's buffs? Because I know people were absolutely like, I need to know what they think about Chizuru. Yeah, Dragalia Lost Mention 2026. I feel like I missed out on something special by not playing Dragalia, right? Because everybody always talks so fondly about it, and I didn't try it. I didn't play it because I was way too in the weeds with Epic 7 and Fate Grand Order at the time. And I guess to a lesser extent, when Arknades came out, I picked that up too.
Yeah, it was peak. Cygames did us really a lot of good with it. The music collabs were great. Like there was just a lot to love about that game. And I also think that's why Cygames will never work with like Nintendo and stuff again, because that's what ultimately led to it getting shut down. It was definitely not just a Cygames decision. They would have kept that shit running. But yeah, it was really good for what it was, and I definitely miss it dearly. And I know there's a private servers that people always try to bring up, like you could still play it and access it if you want to, but at least for me, I try to just to stick with whatever's active. But it was also a game that Bree, my partner, and I played a lot together, so that also is another reason why it's, you know, very rare for us to have a game that we both play. For example, she's not playing Chaos Zero Nightmare, but she did get into Enfield, so we're playing Enfield together on the side. So anytime you can play, you know, with your significant other, obviously you're going to have a higher affinity towards that game, whatever it might be.
I see already people in chat are calling her chorizo again. I missed that. I forgot about that. Oh. But yeah, no, what are your thoughts on Chizuru, Cause? Like, how did you feel about her at release versus how you feel about her now? And then obviously post changes. Like, take me through your Chizuru journey, because I've got one of my own.
So I really love the basic attack spam version. And I think that one doesn't get enough love because everyone loves their big combo, you know, 40x strike, multi-hit attack, do the infinite slashes, cool, like whatever, right? But for me, like just the much more honest and fair and like doing a surprising amount of damage with Ray once you get the right epiphanies for, I felt like I wasted so much time trying to make the OTK version that when I swapped to the basic like a week later, I'm like, wow, I'm kind of an idiot. This just feels way better to play, like from an overall fluidity standpoint. And I just had so much more fun once I swapped over. So now that we get the inhibit change, which again, the biggest issue with her basic attack spam was like you just needed more AP or you always had to hit divine. So I am super excited for all of her buffs and just having her, in my opinion, still best build being the basic attack one. Get this massive buff. Chizuru, you know, I'm very happy. I think she was awkward to play at first because of all the inhibit stuff, but at least now that she can gain her own AP, excuse me, I think there's a lot to love about this character and definitely worth revisiting.
Yeah, I'm kind of, it's actually funny. We have the same exact opinion. Like she came out, I thought she was a bit awkward. I kind of really enjoyed the basic attack spam build, and then everybody told me that the stack build was like the way to go. And I had some moderate success with that, but as time went on, I was like, this doesn't feel great to play. And anytime I did want to play her, I would just go back to the basic attack spam build. I really liked that version of the character. I think that's what it is. Like, there's certain like play styles that characters have that I just don't really like. I just don't think I'm like super big fan of the stack build, but I recognize that it's strong. So to each their own. That's why I'm worried I might not like 9, because 9 is more of that like slow and steady for big damage style character. We will see how I feel about it. Yeah, so let's just quickly run through all the changes so everybody kind of knows what the deal is. So Shadow of the Moon now, You can see it says when bind cards of a given unit are in the same pile or in your hand, they stack into one card. Originally, I didn't know what that meant. What that actually means is essentially if you have like a Shadow of the Moon gets discarded from your hand for whatever reason, and then you create one, and then that gets discarded, and now you have 2 in the discard pile. Previously, you'd have to draw both pieces again for them to stack. Now, if they're like, you know, in the same discard pile, they'll just merge in the discard pile. So you'll be able to draw a completed stack later on the reshuffle, things like that. So that's good. Inhibit, like you already mentioned, Cosmic, you can get AP now under the effect of Inhibit, but only from sources that Chizuru herself creates. And as someone pointed out, they were like, so is 1 AP the way to go for Chizuru? On certain things, I would think, yeah, now is the case. I still think that Oni Hunt, where's the one that creates the actual basic attacks? Is it actually here? I don't think it's actually one of the ones that's in here, is it?
I don't think that was one of those changes.
I think it's 4.
No.
I still think reduced cost number 4 is still the way to go. So there's 0 cost, make 2 basics. That one is definitely still, in my opinion, the best one. I've never sadly gotten that one. I have the draw 1 version of it, which is like, all right, but it's not really where I want it to be. I think if I'm going for Chizuru this time around, I'm trying to go for like 3 or 4 of the basic attack generation Oni Hunt with reduced cost. I think that's the one that I would like to chase. Other Chizuru players like GH in the chat might feel differently than me, but that's the case. That's how I feel, at least. Other changes that I think are pretty interesting on this character to highlight. Karmic Flames Epiphany number 1. Now, if you have Curse Shackles already inflicted on a target, this adds 2 hits as opposed to 1. So now duping Karmic Flames with this Epiphany can actually make for a kind of like, I don't know if it's a good build, but a Mimi build where you get like a 1 cost 450% attack that you could repeatedly spam if you can get a bunch of copies of this Karmic Flames. So I think getting like maybe this Karmic Flames at like draw 1 could be a pretty fun Mimi build to try out. And then also Karmic Flames Epiphany 5 being 0 cost now makes it a lot more usable. Yeah. My only problem with Karmic Flames Epiphany 5, and I know Wind Demon will back me up on this, is why the hell does the created version of Curse Shackles that you get, right? Or I'm sorry, Karmic Flame, like when it refunds you, right? It says create this card. Can I get this as create this card with retain or retrieve, please? Because you will mark a target with Karmic Flames. They'll have Curse Shackles. You'll kill the character, and then you'll get the card back, and then the floor is over, and then you go to the next floor in Spiral Tower, and it's like, all right, and then I discard it, and then I start the next fight without Karmic Flames in my hand, and now I need to just kind of be like, so I can't set up? Real cool. Yeah, it sucks. I think that's like the one big miss on all of the changes here with the character. Otherwise, I think these are all like really, really good. They actually nailed it for Oni Hunt Epiphany number 3. I pointed this out in How to Play Chizuru, that it's a trap Epiphany because essentially getting a 5 hit for 1 cost is ridiculous, but you will never be able to activate the 5 hit condition because it only works when there are no attack cards in your hand. You will always have a Shadow of the Moon in your hand, therefore you can never trigger it. Somebody out there was listening, so they clearly were like, all right, buff the damage, and then make it so it checks for every attack that is not named Shadow of the Moon. Yeah. What is that Moon Plus buff? Yeah. I think also
good one.
Yeah, Shadow of the Moon Plus is like really good now. This was my key complaint with Chizuru, is that I would get like a 4-stack Shadow of the Moon, like not like a Giga Stack one, but like an okay one, enough where I could get the animation change, and I would be like, you know, go Chizuru, and I have like 60% crit and like 180% crit damage on the character, and I would get all crits and it'd be like, bro, why did it only do like 800 damage? Like,
I think this is a very nice upgrade overall for this and what she's able to do. So, yeah, I was kind of the same way where it's like, you know, we were happy that this gave us a little bit of healing, but a lot of my stuff was like, oh, I'm doing all my basic attack damage. I guess I have Shadow of the Moon now. And then you're like, that did okay damage. I got a little bit of a heal. Like, let me build that back up again, right? So I think this is going to be a very noticeable damage increase for her.
Yeah. Warbold is saying in chat, you know, he thinks that Chizuru might be the closest thing to Serenial now. We'll see. I do think that, like, I personally, again, you guys can roast me if you want, leave Cosmic out of this. Personally, I felt like Chizuru was like in the bottom 25% of the cast before this change. I think she's pretty solidly probably in the top 25% now of the cast. Like, the buffs are really that substantial on this character. Right? I think she's, I'm not gonna sit here and say she's Serenial Jr. like Warbolt, but I think she's really strong now. Right? Yeah, they also buffed her Void set, which is really, really good too. We will see. All right, now here comes the interesting ones. These are all of the combatants that have additional changes that were different than last week's developer notes or are new buffs that you haven't seen before. Right? So we'll let chat answer this one. How do you guys feel about the Orlea buffs? Because obviously both me and Cosmic do not have this character, so we can't relate to this. Like, we're just like the kid pressing our face up against the glass at Christmas time, like looking at the toys going, can I have one? Hopefully Santa brings me one.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say about this one that I did a quick call, I don't think it was Orlea's kit, but some of the other ones, like, I also want to appreciate that the devs are readjusting some of their potential numbers to make it easier to hit, to unlock those aspects, right? So for her potential 7 here of having only 700 defense instead of the attack getting reduced to 700, right? And then the defense is staying at the 300 amount, right? Like, that is giving us a little bit better of a window of saying, like, hey, we can finally make this more approachable. Now, 700 attack, I will say the same thing with Calliope, right? Like, that level of attack requires you to run the attack piece for memory buff or memory fragment 4 slot and over crit, which just feels bad otherwise. So, like, you still do need a lot of attack and you have to sacrifice other ways to get it. But I'll be curious to see, like, if we get more balancing of this in the future.
We will.
To kind of refine some of these potentials.
If you scroll down underneath of Orlea, right? It says, although Orlea is intended to function as a controller combatant who provides supports to allies, certain potential nodes were misaligned with her intended role.
Okay.
In particular, potential nodes 05-1 and 07 required investment of attack, which conflicted with the defensive attributes expected of a controller. This resulted in confusion in Orlea's progression path and hindered efficient gameplay, right? And now, if you scroll down here, additionally, we have identified that the current potential node structure has been causing similar issues not only for Orlea, but for multiple combatants.
Nice.
Beginning with this adjustment, we plan to continue improving the system in a direction that will better meet the expectation of our Protoss in the near future. This is the devs' way of saying we're buffing Calliope and Maribel in the future. This is exactly what this is, because both Calliope and Maribel have these, like, outlandish requirements to hit their potential 7s that no sane person is ever hitting.
Yeah, you can tell I very quickly skipped over this section immediately because, again, like, I don't have Orlea, so, like, I can't talk about this. I just skipped right down to Cassius because there's a lot to talk about for Cassius.
Yeah, Cassius, yeah. Basically, look, I already felt Orlea, despite what people tell me about her. Like, I have so many people tell me on the regular they think she's meh or she's not good. And then I sit there and, like, I listen to Wind Demon talk about the character, or, like, my best friend who plays the character all the time. And I'm just like, I think this character's nuts. Like, can I just have this character? Yeah, I think this is really, really good. Yeah, so we're going to skip over Orlea. Take my word for it. I think that they're very good changes, but without having hands-on experience,
yeah,
I can't really say too much more than I think these are good. All right, Cassius. I'll let you field this one, and then I'll give my thoughts on it afterwards.
Yeah, so, man, Cassius is definitely a hot one to talk about, right? So, I think the biggest things are understanding that the infinite scaling is getting removed, but the trade-off is that we're getting some additional healing and we're getting, like, supercharged versions of the quest. Now, The one additional change that they've made last minute is his quest generation is getting changed on completion, his very last reward. So there's going to be kind of like a complete realignment of how you want to use this kit and kind of where it's going to shine. Now, I've said, for me personally, I am going to use my reset on him immediately because, spoiler, right, in terms of his element, I am basically going to swap my investment from him to Orlea once I get it. But the quest card, Dice Trick. I'm like, what is the name of the card again? Dice Trick Epiphany 5 getting changed to just being like hey, you now get a free one of, right? So I think there are going to be a lot of people who are upset that we don't get like the Giga shuffle through turns, which were like admittedly really fun to play of like, oh my God, I got to have like 5 full houses in a turn, all this morale stacking and stuff like that. I think Cassius is going to just be very okay from a support role, and it has some very nice additional draw that we're getting, but he's not going to be the same insane, basically sub DPS that he was previously. So yeah. I think these are overall good changes for how to address the issue and kind of talk about the elephant in the room that was his infinite scaling kit. I think some of these damage numbers are admittedly a little bit awkward because we're going to change what memory fragments we're using on him now. So yes, the damage increase is good, but we'll be doing overall less damage in how we need to shift his kit. But I think otherwise some of the other changes are good, and he feels more like a 4-star now. Admittedly, for people who don't have a wide roster, I think he's very playable. But for those of us who might have a more extended roster, I think this is definitely going to eat your consumable of just saying, hey, I want my refund, and going to go put that towards other characters.
Yeah. I don't necessarily feel 100% the same way. Definitely he is weaker than what he was, because he previously, I think, was the best character in the game. It's between him and Serenial. Obviously, any rework is going to make him not the best character in the game, because that's the whole point of why they reworked it, because he was so... I cannot stress this enough. I know people really hated that he got reworked. That character with that kit was a mistake. It is impossible to design content with the character in the state that he was in, because he could take 10+ minute turns. He was the best damage dealer in the game. He had the most draw, the most sustain, the most boss. There was just... It was literally infinite scaling. You could never outdo it. And the proposed changes that they gave him last week, I thought were like not good. Like, he felt really underpowered. And then they came back after seeing people's general reaction to it, and they made 3 out of his 4 quest cards have draw 1 now. So basically, full house is the same as it was, but straight, which is the morale, resolve, fortitude buff, as well as triple 1, now also draw cards. So 3/4 of the time, your quest cards are going to give you an insane amount of consistency. The 4th card that doesn't draw, 000, its floor is now the proposed ceiling from before. So that is a huge jump in overall damage. And then just the general changes to his healing make him a better sustain. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I think he's the best support in the game anymore, or the best character in the game anymore, but I think to say that he is not good anymore is like, all right, bro, don't knock it till you try it. I think it's really hard to say a character that can effectively draw 3 cards for 0 AP every turn is bad. I think that's ridiculous, especially if you get Dice Trick 5 to just be able to get essentially a 75% chance at a supercharged draw 1 for free every turn. I think he's still a solid character. You can recall him if you guys want. In fact, I recommend you do recall him because, you know, who knows? If he ends up sucking, cool, you got your resources back. Otherwise, you could wait, see how people like me or Cosmic feel about him post changes, and then just, you know, rock the new version of the character. So that's basically my thoughts on him. I think he's really strong still, but he's not tier 0. He's at best tier 1, most likely like tier 2. All right. So one I didn't have on my bingo card, and like multiple people blew up my DMs about this morning, is Kayron. Kayron buffs. I personally think that these are kind of phoned in. I think they didn't give Kayron the one thing he really needed. What Kayron really needs is initiation on Oath of Vanity, and only Epiphany 2 had it. I don't know why, for the love of God, 1, 3, and 5 don't have it. Like 4 is the skill that draws you like 8 billion cards when you do it correctly. So we're just still out here being like, cool, Oath of Vanity 2 and 4 are the only playable ones. I just think that it's a huge miss to not give initiation to all the versions of Oath. Like, if Malin could start with her key card, if Hugo could start with his key card, if Veronica could start with her key card, why can Kayron not start with his key card?
Yeah, this is the one that, like, I am still upset that because this kid is so clunky and locked behind the paywall of, like, E3 or the partner, he really needed to get more love than what he got out of the patch. Like, if there is a single thing that I can call out from a overall balance perspective, I think this has got to be the biggest miss when it comes to what characters got. Like, so many other characters got very noticeable buffs or very noticeable, like, quality of life changes for different build options and whatnot, and Kayron is just like, all right, we want to put him on the in the patch notes, so let's flip a coin and just give some like a random amount of damage increase across the board. Like, sure, man, but like, man, this is one that like, and probably just because I keep getting multiple copies of him, like, I want to see Kayron get some support and get a little bit more rework, but maybe we'll have to wait for his corruption update or whatever they're calling those again for like Hugo and Orlea that we're getting in April, I think it is.
Yeah, we're getting him in start of season 3, I think. But yeah, it's like, it's regrettable too, because Kayron was the character I enjoyed the most in the beta, and I felt like they gutted him pretty hard at launch, but I still thought he was usable. But as time has gone on, he's been very cumbersome to use unless you have a lot of manifest egos in him. And even then, I don't know if it's like worth the hassle. Like, I like this character. I think he's cool. I think he's fun. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say he might be the worst 5-star in the game now. I think that's kind of how I personally feel right now. Right? I still think he's a good character, but somebody has to be on the bottom. And I think it's Kayron right now because he's not the highest damage character. He's not like the best AoE character, not the best single target character. He has really long ramp up times. He needs a 5-star partner to really kind of make him work. And he's just clunky, and like he needs those quality of life changes, and they just don't seem to give it to him. Right? It's a little bit regrettable because like in the beta, these upgraded futilities, they costed 0, right? Yep. And like Echo of Futility was AoE, and that made him feel amazing, right? To have like an on-demand powerful AoE option and having the ability to spam your futilities. The character felt a lot like Luke. But AoE focus, and it was really fun to play him. And for whatever reason, they're like, well, nope, they're all 1 cost now, so attack spam is kind of dead on this character.
Yeah, so it's one of those awkward things where it's like we just really need even a second Ray to really make those deal enough damage. Like, Kayron's really great because he has so much self-sustain and like he will heal himself. Like, you do not need a healer on his team if you're going the full-on futility spamming route, but it just doesn't do enough with what we have access to right now. And it's a bummer because it's like he does something super unique compared to other 5-stars in the game currently that like in spirit, he should be a very good option for tower. But either because we just don't have the right supports enabled or just because the way his kit is currently designed, he does fall a little flat. And just, it bums me out how close this character is to being something special.
Yeah, that was what originally drew me to him is like, I really liked, I used to play a lot of DC deck building game with my friends. And probably my favorite character to play in that game was Bizarro. And Bizarro's whole thing is that he takes weaknesses, which are generally like their status element cards that bog down your deck. He does cool and interesting things in them. He turns them into resources, turns them into advantages for you. So you want to try to get them as much as possible. Whereas normally other, archetypes shy away from that. And so when I saw Kayron was that kind of character, I was like, oh, wow. I think this is super sick. I would love to main this character. And seeing like I said, all of these futility attacks costing 1 now instead of 0, like in the beta, for like certain epiphanies. Like I think some epiphanies were still 1 cost, but he at least had options that could make them 0 cost, right? If you wanted to have like a spam build. Him losing that feels kind of bad. Like in a post-Serenial world where she could just, homing laser like this all day for incredible damage for no AP, or even be AP positive. Charon just feels like, whoa. Like, you know what it feels like? It feels like 2 designers like received the same assignment, and you could tell which one is a more liberal designer and which one's a more conservative one. Like one who's like, I'm really trying to push what I could do in the games engine versus, well, I want to make something that's like safe so that way like we don't power creep it out of existence, right? That's how I feel. Like I think very vividly in my head of like 2 people I used to work with back in my old Naruto days at Bandai, right? Like one used to be a designer that was very much like play it safe, make very fair costed cards, and then one was like, what if it was a free tutor?
Jesus.
Yeah. So like it like that, right? You could tell exactly. It's like the duality of man. That's how I feel like. I feel like the guy who designed Charon spent like a really long time trying to get him to, be really cool and efficient, have all these intricate play patterns. And then you got the guy who designed Serenial that was like, laser scoper. Yeah.
And I guess I will give credit because I haven't had a chance to actually go back and try it personally, but like there is something to be said about Narja's kit that gives you the reduced costs for cards that would allow you to do like, oh, I can do 5 futility in a turn instead of 3. But then like at that same point, you're like, okay, and like that's still not that's not enough, right? But that's like probably the best thing that you can do now from an overall like how do we extend out Charon's damage right through the futility plan.
Yeah, exactly. Like again, it's just like if Renoa can shoot 10 bullets a turn, if Yuki can attack 6 or 7 times a turn, if Serenial can attack 10, 15, 20 times a turn, Charon being like, oh bro, you get 3 futility swings a turn is like, ooh, that feels really bad by comparison, right? It feels really, really bad by comparison. All right. Selena's next. Pretty basic upgrade. Sniper's Domain now gives 80% mark damage as opposed to 40%. You can see it says here, as builds centered around marks were found to lack sufficient damage amount in the current meta, the numerical values of Selena's unique effect that enhances mark damage will be increased. I think that's more because like there's not really that many other like mark characters, right? Like the only other
safe buff, sure, great, yeah.
I just like I sit here and I think I'm like, there's like a Dirge Bullet I think on Renoa that has Mark II that no one ever plays, but like otherwise I struggle to think about like any other characters that have Mark. Like it's kind of like she's on an island of like, all right, I'm this great off DPS support for an archetype that's not developed. Yeah, that's I say that, but yes, the build I actually did use for Great Rift to get top 1% was I actually did play a homing laser that had 1 AP Mark II on it. So that one was kind of sick value. But unless you get like those Divine Epiphanies that have Mark like accidentally, you're not really ever developing Mark, it feels like. Yeah, that is the one thing I will say about that. Both Spatial and you, Cosmic, pointed that out about Charon, is that Charon actually is like he's like an all-rounder in that he can heal and deal damage, and because he's psionic, he can hold support cards. So that is like one of his greatest strengths, is that he could play mid-range really, really well. Again, I just wish he had a little bit more quality of life, a little bit more accessibility to him. And I think that's kind of all he really needs at this point. All right. Owen's up next.
Brand new character. Never before seen.
you sure? I literally feel like I looked at these changes and I was like, did you just like add 20 to everything and call it a day? Because it looks like you just added 20 to everything and called it a day. Like that's kind of.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, it's so weird. We talked about this like a week ago on stream about how I felt Gale Strike is like a bottom 3 mythic card in this game. And even with these changes, I'm like, I think it's probably still bottom 3.
No, it definitely is, but like this is one of those things, like, it is a free character. I do appreciate that he can deal okay damage, he can deal okay shielding, he can do okay buffing. He's not great at any of that, but like, if you are missing a character for a team, there is a chance that Owen can fill that role, especially if you are a new player. So I do want to give a shout out to the devs that, like, hey, they are buffing him for season 2, which is probably just mandatory because of like the monster HP buffs and other stuff that we know that's going to be happening. But I will also then add, I do wish there was a little bit more than just damage increases across the board. You know, maybe change the cost of a couple things. Like they definitely could have done a little bit more for this character.
Like, for example, this one, right? Like, this upgrade is like hilarious to me. Like, right? He's got this 2-cost upgrade. At the start of the turn, decrease your AP by 1 to, at the end of the turn, deal 240% damage to all enemies. Like, excuse me, what? Like, Amir just does this without this. Like, and they're the same rarity. Like, why? So I thought we would have gotten rid of this decrease AP by 1. Like, you didn't have to necessarily, like, buff the damage, right? But, like, this just feels so bad, like, to use in terms of usability. Like, that's pretty much the thing with Owen is, like, the only one of these, like, wind slashes that feels kind of fun to use is, like, 3, where it's, like, if you kill somebody, it does it again. So it kind of creates that, like, flush combo, like Vivian and Epic 7. That's really fun to use. But otherwise, like, the character really just boils down to break armor up to boost your damage, and then using his extra, his ability to give extra hit counts. That's kind of it. That's what he do. It's like, what do you do? I boost hit counts. I mean, that's a niche, but I think he needs a little bit of something. I think what's really holding him back is, like, Gale Strike just feels like a dead card. Like, you only get 5 cards in a character's kit, and basically Wind Slash is the generic damage move, and then you have, like, the 3 utility cards, and then it's like, well, what's the other one? It's like, oh, it's the generic damage move again. It's like, I kind of didn't need that, right? Because all I got is Death Shred, up, like, basically a buff, and then a move that grabs the buff back to my hand. So the fact that one is a, like, was it Wind Riding, is the card that grabs the buff back to your hand. So really, that's just an extra copy of the buff card. So in actuality, I have a 4-card kit, and one of them is a good defense shred, probably the best defense shred in the game. One is a solid upgrade, but not like anything amazing compared to some of his peers. And then just 2 damage moves. You see what I mean? Like, that's why it feels kind of bad.
Yeah, the thing I keep going back to with the Gale Strike too is, like, it is a card that we'd want to remove if we can, because it just reminds me a lot of Kalipe's finale card that gives you a bunch of shield, because once you actually build her enough, you never want to use that card. So it's like you're stuck with this dead card in your deck that just does not do enough. We're always just going to, like, sideline it for whatever else that we want to spend our AP on. So yeah, sure, like, the shield upgrade and the, well, I guess damage increase too, like, it's nice, but I'm definitely spending that AP elsewhere in the turn. So it's just a feels bad draw every time you see it go to hand.
Yeah. I mean, that what Warble was saying, that's how I feel about Kalipe's ultimate. It's like, what is my purpose? You give my cards retain. That's it.
Yep.
That's what I use it for. I'm just like, oh, turns over, X equals 0, just retain my cards, so that way I can have a super turn next turn. You know, I do think it gives a pretty solid shield, but usually there's a better thing I feel like you could spend your AP on. All right. How do we feel about this one, chat? How do we feel about Veronica buffs? You know, how do you feel about a top 5 character, right? How do you feel about a 10 out of 10 character getting a buff?
Yeah, so obviously I'm very excited for this. And of course, there's something to be said about like we've gotten damage increases kind of across the board, just to accommodate how season 2 is going to ramp up and all that stuff. But the weakness attack now applying for ballistas, holy shit, that is such a nice improvement. Free tenacity, and the biggest like hidden thing about this that I really appreciate is that like there is a very niche build for Veronica that says, hey, if the Cirkulowski, if you want to copy it, like you can have a hand that is just now 7 ballistas, and because we're getting the extra damage from the weakness attack is going to be extremely relevant, you are going to just absolutely shred damage now with Veronica getting that little bit of increase. So love to see this overall. And like the biggest part for me too is shelling ballista just getting a near double damage increase when it's already a ×2 multiplier. If you have anything at all that boosts that already, damn, that is a big upgrade. So huge win here kind of across the board.
Yeah. I don't know what else there is to say. It's again, we buffed the top tier. Like this feels like an Arc System Works patch where it's like, guys, like Happy Chaos has just been running all over the game, man. I can't wait for the nerfs. And then the patch drops and it's like Happy Chaos is buffed. And you're like, wait, what? Why? Like, why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. like he's already too good. So yeah, that's exactly it. I don't know what else to say. Buff a top tier. Oh, this is another one that chat, don't shoot me. I don't have a lot of experience with it. You guys know I just tried out Beryl for the first time, like on the last stream that we did, and it didn't do super well with her. So yeah, Beryl. This just feels like it almost feels like the Owen treatment. It's like I'm just gonna slap 20% on everything that's not the opening found upgrade that everyone uses to wombo.
Yeah.
In hopes to get you to stop womboing.
Yeah, this feels just very like, okay, opening found is still the best one that we've been using, right? Like I don't think, again, I built the deck once, I saw it pop off, I'm like, okay, this is clearly the best thing, but like I don't think this changes anything. In chat, tell me if I'm wrong otherwise, but it's like you are still using the same barrel build because it's still the best build by a mile. I will say this is a nice upgrade for those like fun chaos runs that we talked about earlier. So like if you're doing like the challenging runs where obviously you can't do the upgrade version, cool, like that's a nice buff. But like for actual outside of like real content, this is not much of an upgrade in terms of like different playstyles actually coming online.
Yeah. Yeah, if that opening Epiphany is not getting a buff, nothing's shaded. Yeah, it's basically opening found Epiphany 5. That's the upgrade. That's just like you get all the damage at the end of the turn when you retained, like for free. That's all everyone ever plays. And I don't think saying here's 20 to 50% damage on every other card really incentivizes it, unless like it really moves the needle enough where a more proactive game plan you know, it kind of gets there, it has higher numbers. But again, this is Beryl, the character that gets rewarded for not being proactive. So yeah. Both Orlea and Beryl buff for more damage. Yeah. But we'll see. Again, I eventually, if I could find enough time in the day to actually get around to playing a ton of Beryl, I will do that, because like I think this character's design is sick. So I really would like to at some point do like a deep dive and really like learn how to play the character. Eventually I want to like learn and play every single character in the roster a ton, except for like maybe Lucas. Oh, but yeah, like Lucas is like the one character I was like, I do not like this character. Like I think with his ultimate plus Luke, he could be fun, but otherwise I'm like, nah, I'm good. Gimmick has been trying to sell me on Lucas for like 2 months. It's not gonna happen. Stop trying to make Lucas happen. All right, Maribel is up next. So I know you have a lot of experience with this character. I also have a lot of experience with this character. Yeah. So Resolute Blitz is the only thing really getting buffed here, and I'll take it. I don't know how you feel, Cosmic, but I thought this was the worst card in the kit because it always felt just generic. Like I almost always would rather pull Shelter Mark II for either like the AoE or the potential big burst combo or the AoE shield, right? Like that has so many fun options, and it's like, well, what does Resolute Blitz do? It's a single target attack that does maybe more damage or gets a counter attack, right?
Yeah, I'm happy with just getting the upgrade still. So like this doesn't change a lot for me personally. Like you can still do the like OTK build, which was sure a lot of fun, but I think a lot of people are still going to be leaning on the let's talk about the counterattacks can crit now, right? Like that's still the big selling point here. And Maribel does have a lot of upgrades that lean into that. So I think that's still like, you know, she is the 4-star Magna in you know, the more like side-by-side comparisons. And I think she was just fine for where she's at. So nice to see, again, some buffs, but I don't think this ultimately changes kind of the role that she filled or like how she's going to align on certain teams. So it's like, it's fine. It's nothing to like exciting otherwise to write about, but we'll see if there's some like new neutrals or new gear that like makes her shine in other ways once we dig into season 2.
Yeah. Honestly, I really wish they would have changed Epiphany 2 because like straight up, like I don't ever see myself playing Epiphany 2 when Epiphany 1 exists. Right? I really wish they would give more utility to this thing. Like unless this is like a mistranslation, like this is basically higher damage, and if you actually inflict damage, it's the same effect. This is basically like if you hit a shielded unit, you're getting the counterattack if you don't break the shield. And I'm like, okay, that's like incredibly niche. So yeah, I wish we had made this have like a little bit more utility, right? I'm with Cosmic on this one. The upgrade is the way to go. They also noted here, same kind of note with both Magda and like Maribel and even 9 Vanguards they are aware are not really meta. So they might be tuning Maribel a lot more in subsequent patches in order to try to get her up to speed. Basically, if you're a Maribel fan, you're going to be eating good. They're probably going to overhaul your potentials at some point, and they're going to add even more stuff to the kit. So it might be worth it as a long-term investment if you like the character. Because I think she's just going to keep getting stronger and stronger until she gets to like an actual usable point. Okay, impossible to talk about Rinoa, right? Without jumping ahead a bit here. We have to talk about, where are you? This first, before we talk about Rinoa as a character with her buffs. I saw that this was your thumbnail this morning, Cosmic.
Yeah, I'm still salty about this one, but I get it.
Yeah. So Dimensional Cube is basically the best in slot accessory for Rinoa for basically every single build you could want to play on the character. It says when a card is discarded, which is Rinoa's entire gimmick, plus 10% damage amount for 1 turn. They have changed it to when a card is discarded, plus 15% damage amount for 1 turn, but it caps at a maximum of 3 stacks. So essentially the floor is way higher now on Dimensional Cube, but from everything after like essentially the 4th or 5th bullet is just worse than it used to be. And I 100% understand why this is, because if you've ever used Rinoa with Nia and you've used the Rinoa Nia Wombo combo, you realize like how hilarious the damage is, right? Even if you can get like the 10 bullet hand every turn, the damage is pretty substantial from Dimensional Cube. So I guess they just felt like, hey, maybe Rinoa's combos just do way too much damage in the short term. So they got rid of it, right? Made it a bit worse. So kind of as compensation now going over to Rinoa, you get the weakness attack changes just like with Veronica. Cool, we'll take them. Otherwise, you get an extra 40% damage on Dirge Bullet when it's discarded from your hand. The damage you get when you play it is still roughly the same. So, I mean, I'll take it. Previously, it was like 1,000 damage on a crit from playing the card and like 500 when you didn't. Now it'll probably be closer to like 700, 750 on a bullet when it's discarded. So like that's fine. But again, any hand that has like 4 to 5 or more bullets is probably going to feel like it does especially as you approach more towards 10 bullets. It's going to feel like it does less damage overall, right? Low and mid-sized bullet hands are going to feel better. Combo turns are going to feel worse though. Yeah. All right, so there we go, man. We are definitely like, I feel like we're starting to wind down on energy here. I'm trying to stay motivated because it is in the middle of the night for us.
Yeah, the whole like 2 a.m. and then into 3 a.m. Going live is definitely going to be a bit rough, but we're trying our best. Like I said, I might have to get another coffee here soon just to power through. But yeah, for those that don't know, like. Well, I guess Sue does as well, but it's like, we take a small nap after work, and then I'm going to be up for like 28 hours straight after this. Or like, starting now. So it is rough, but we do it for the love of the game. And honestly, like, there's just a lot to actually be excited for with season 2. But, I got to do my day job, at the end of the day. So I gotta fit that in, unfortunately. Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, man. And then the last character I guess to talk about here is Luke, who is another character I enjoy playing. Honestly, I just like playing Hunters. I think Hunters probably, like, Hunter and Vanguard are definitely my 2 favorite classes. I like playing every single Hunter in the game. I like playing every single Vanguard in the game, except for, like, Kalipe. I think that's about it. Right. So it's 9 bait. Not really. It's like, that's like a weird question. Like, if you don't enjoy playing Vanguard focused teams like double Vanguard or like Vanguard double controller where the Vanguard is the carry, you're not going to have, I think, a good time with the character, right? If you just like playing Serenial or like, your Veronica DPS like plus support team, then yeah, she's not going to do much for you. She's not going to feel very good. Go get your coffee. I'm getting a cup right now. I do not drink coffee, sadly. I just don't like the taste of it. I wish I did, because the idea of like a hot caffeinated beverage sounds amazing. Honestly, you know what? I might actually go and make hot chocolate. That actually sounds like a pretty good idea, right? The problem is I'm going to have to like go and like, I've got the kind that only works with like milk. So I'm going to have to go like boil milk. Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's get through this last one here. And then I think we'll open it up to, I guess we'll talk about partners, and then we'll kind of take a quick break, go get like refreshments and stuff. And then when we come back, we'll just like field questions from chat. I think that's like the best way to go about doing it. All right, so Luke, this one's pretty simple. The meta game for the character is, it says chain fire here, but they really mean rapid fire. It's basically his starting unique. The meta is basically the first 2 epiphanies. The first one gives retain to his rapid fire, and then the other one has 3 hits. So basically, Epiphany 1 generates 4 bullets the first time through the deck, otherwise it's 2. The second one generates 3 bullets, and then you'll notice that these other ones here, Epiphany 3 it generates 1 bullet, and 4 and 5 don't generate any bullets, Epiphany 5 being a draw source. This character is very much bullet spam, so everybody wants Epiphany 1 and 2, because that is what you're playing the character for. And so 3, 4, and 5 feel insanely lackluster in comparison. There might be a chance that you would consider Epiphany 5 as like a draw source, as like an off DPS and not a bullet spam character. But otherwise, like, I think these are just like, I don't want to say like lip service, but it's like, these just exist. I don't think you're going to ever use these seriously for Luke over options 1 and 2. These just kind of are here. Right?
Yeah, Chainfire is like the same thing for drop. Oh my God, what is it called? Fixing from Hugo's ability, where it's like if you get a divine, you can make it a 0 cost, draw 2, deal some amount of damage. Like sure, kind of situation, but like this is the very niche of just trying to make these find a home situation. Sure, but there's definitely better builds you could be doing for Luke, and sorry that I don't have a lot to add for these last 2, because as I kind of mentioned early on, as many people know, like Luke and Renault are the 2 that I still have on my account that are level 1, because I just don't have the resources to level them up. So like I want to use both these characters at some point, but I spend all my time and my stamina pre-farming for the whoever the next banner is, and it leaves you with very little stamina at the end, as many may know.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I got you. I play these quite a bit. Yajirushi in the chat, hopefully I didn't butcher your name, pointed out something that's pretty interesting. What if they changed to Epiphany 3 where it's only a single hit but it's guaranteed to crit and make a handgun bullet and it has extreme damage. You play this one for challenge dungeons, like specifically the one where you can't have all your attacks become multi-hit. So you're going to want to have like high cost single target moves so that way you could get the bonus value out. So in that scenario for challenge dungeons, Epiphany 3 is surprisingly good. I actually do agree with that. I think that's pretty good. All right, so last two things to talk about here. All of these listed partners that you see here are getting between 8 and 16% attack. So Ratachka, this is basically the like 4-star that you play on like Haru or Owen. Lillian, I believe this is the one you play on your strikers if you don't have their 5-star ones. Priscilla, I'm not super familiar with. I believe Priscilla is the battle pass one, right? She's the one that gives, is it vulnerable for 2 cost, right? Why are we counting down? I'm wondering why is chat counting down?
Yeah, I have no idea either. And also kudos to you for like remembering what all these are. Cause like there's no way. They're getting buffed. That's the important part. And I just like skipped over it myself. I'm just like, yeah, if you got them, you're gonna be using them now. That's the big takeaway. They're good finally. You can actually use your 5 stars.
Yeah. People say this is the longest podcast ever. Bro, we gotta fill time because of maintenance extension, bro. Every single time.
Kills me so much.
Scarlet is the 5-star that you play on Ren, so that's gonna make that more competitive. Mary Ann, I believe, is the 5-star that you're supposed to play on Veronica, but nobody does. Wes McCott is Yuki's partner. Honestly, I think Wes McCott is probably the most overall buffed partner in the patch. I think she's just insane now after her changes. Asteria is the battle pass partner that you play on Tressa. Rosaria, I believe, is the 4-star ranger partner that you might play on a character like Hugo, for example. Daisy, I'm not sure which one this is. This might be I'm not really sure. I think this is the one that gives a morale and a shield. Salia, I think is the other. I think this is the other battle pass partner. Tina is Hugo's partner that's getting buffed. Marion, I think this one is this Mei Lin's? I think this might be yeah, Marianne is Mei Lin, thank you. Marin is the one for Veronica. Akkad is the 4-star for Luke and Renoa that like nobody really plays. Same thing with Carity. Janet is Luke's partner, so if you are a Luke player, Janet is probably worth the consideration now. Serathea is probably the most important one, I think, out of everything here. I think with these changes, right, this getting an 8% attack increase, for those of you who already have 2 copies of Nyx from the Battle Pass, I do think Serathea might be worth a consideration now that she gives attack, crit chance, and crit damage for free to Hunter class characters. So maybe like Renoa, for example, or Luke if you don't have their 5-star partners, right? Kiara is supposed to be Renoa's. I think even with the 8% attack, it is still hot garbage, and I would not play it on Renoa. Eloise is for Charon. Sure. I still don't think it's particularly great. Antea is, I believe, Haru's. Let's see if I'm trying to do this all from memory. I think I'm doing a pretty good job so far. Right? Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's Asteria. Is Asteria
is for Haru? That's the only one that I know for sure.
Yeah, Asteria is Haru, and Antea is the battle pass one for Tressa, and then Bria is the one for Charon that is the 5-star. Yeah, they're all better. So these are all better. Notably, when you come down here to defense here, Aisling, which is the battle pass, Zeta, which is Calipe's, Erica, which is Magna's, Nyx, which is the broken battle pass one, and Noelle, which is Orlea's. These are all better. I still probably would not pick up Aisling from the battle pass, especially not over a Nyx. Zeta already didn't need a buff, but we'll take it anyway. Erica got one. I'm happy about that. Notably, you'll notice that Rachel did not get a buff. So I think that now I could safely say, even though in the early days of all my guides that I thought that Rachel was like the best free-to-play option for Vanguards, I think with all of these changes, I think it might objectively be the worst one. Yeah, Nyx got buffed for no reason. Don't ask me why.
The Knicks change is the biggest one because like most of us should already have it, but my God, getting the additional defense now on top of everything else, like giga buff for that.
It's just like, why? Like, what's the reason why?
I mean, to be fair to all of them, sure, like I get it. So hey, 5 stars are now, again, really worth using.
All right.
But Knicks is insane.
All right, so there you go. That's essentially us going through everything. We kind of slow rolled it there at the end because, well, with the 2-hour extension, we got to fill time.
Yeah.
All right, so in the meantime, you could stare at my cool Narja, and I will, me and Cosmic will kind of field questions just to kind of fill the time for the next, like, half hour, give or take. Right. When is maintenance going to end? About 35, 40 minutes.
The nightmare is ongoing. That's when it'll end. I mean,
yeah. When is maintenance going to end? Look, don't you know what happens when maintenance ends? That's when maintenance begins. It's so funny because what was it? Brett actually I think he foretold this, right? Like, it's actually funny. Let me go over here. Where is it? Is it this one or this one? I'm not really sure. Oh my God, my voice. Yeah, my favorite part of maintenance is the extra the 1 extra hour to maintenance. He foretold it. He knew it was coming, bro. He was a prophet.
We know who to blame.
Yeah, I mean, we always blame Brett here. How do you build this Narja character? I pulled her, but never played her. Basically, you want to let me go over here. Oh no. Uh-oh. I seem to have accidentally locked myself on Discord, so I can't get back to my own server. Yeah, I play her with these sets. There we go. But basically it is crit chance on 4, instinct on 5, defense on 6. All right, that's how I play it. You don't have to play health set. It's choice 2 set. I think that you just play 2 defense, 2 or 2 crit damage, 2 defense set, and then 2 of whatever. You could also play, if you play with Serenial, the Ravage set, and I feel like Conqueror's aspect is like okay. It's not great, but it's like okay, right?
Yeah, I always feel bad when people ask how to build Narja because then the immediate next question is like, okay, well, how do you want to use her? Because there is quite a variety when it comes to like the Epiphany choices. Like gearing, I think is going to be the same overall, just like use the 2 split. But my God, the Epiphany conversation is just always a rabbit hole to dive into.
Yeah, somebody was asking, have we talked about the new neutral cards? I actually didn't know that we were getting new neutral cards. I have not seen them at all.
Hold on, I can just screenshot you an image really quick. I just closed my PowerPoint, but do I still have it? Did I delete it? Shit, I already deleted it, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, the only reason I go health is because I have like absolutely like cracked pieces on health set for whatever reason. Like my Magna, the 2 health pieces on my Magna, one has like 12% crit damage and like 6 crit chance on it with like flat defense and defense percentage. It's like nearly impossible for me to replace that. It's like too hard to say no to. Prediction on Tefera kit and teammates. Tefera, I think, is probably... I'm hoping she's a psionic, but if I had to guess, I think she's going to be a justice controller. I think she's going to be blue for sure. Otherwise, it kind of doesn't really make much sense why the same set that came out with 9 also works with justice characters. So my thought is justice support.
I just realized I got cut off in my screen capture for the ones that I put together. That really bums me out now. Oops. My OBS settings are wrong. Well, surely somebody has. Like Reddit probably has a thread up for it.
Yeah, if somebody could link me the cards, I will gladly look them over.
Free 10 pulls for newly created accounts after the maintenance. Oh, that's cool. Yay, free extra 10 pulls for new players.
We take free 10 pulls. We stand free 10 pulls. I've seen the short CCN EM posted. I have not actually. There's so much stuff that was posted today. It's like it's overwhelming. Right? Like
there was a flood, to say the least.
It was like we were like in a desert for like 3 weeks, being like, please Smilegate, just a drop of water, please anything for content. And then they were like, just open the floodgates and it's like an ocean pours out on the desert. That's how it felt today. All right, let's see. New season 2 cards. Okay, let's see. I've not actually seen these ones. Shout outs to this YouTuber, I guess, who was kind enough to screenshot everything. All right, so let's see. Spore Harvester, 0 cost skill, retain exhaust, incinerate, create 2 contaminated spore, retain, create 1 contaminated spore. And so this is what a contaminated spore does. Retain exhaust, 1 spore propagation, retain, create 1 contaminated spore. So is spore propagation like poison?
Why is it so small? Let me open this.
I know what I know what incinerate does, but I'm trying to figure out what does 1 spore propagation mean. That's the key piece I do not understand here. Like when you exhaust it, you get 2 of this 0 cost card, right? And if you retain it, you get another copy of it. And then when you play it, it does 1 spore propagation. So I'm trying to figure out what does that do. If somebody could tell.
Oh no, so all I was gonna add is like this is the one thing that's like this is all baked into obviously the exhaust costs getting reduced and whatnot, but my god, it's like I wonder how it's gonna feel to play after this once 9 loses all these cards.
Okay, this is actually insane then. If chat is saying the spore propagation basically increases the damage that the target takes by 10% for each stack up to a max of 3, so it's like a vulnerable. That makes Spore Harvester pretty much ridiculous on Orlea and Rin. I think they're really good on those characters, like, because you could sit there and just retain a bunch of contaminated spores, and that would make Black Dance just ridiculous on Rin, because you could guarantee always hit for huge damage. Yeah. Oh man, like, I think that Spore Harvester is very strong for those characters. All right, let's see. What is Mushroom Ammo? 3 cost attack. Bullet. Okay, so that's good for Lucas. He's the character that cares most about bullets. Exhaust 450% damage, double the effect of spore propagation. Huh. I don't know how I feel about that one. Not like super big fan of that one.
Yeah, not much. Like the damage is cool for just having a big hit, and getting a divine on it would be nice, but not something that immediately jumps out compared to, you know, just getting your stacks up otherwise.
All right, so then this one with all, it's forbidden, so you can't play it. Finale Exhaust. Select and activate 1 cards in hand, draw power or discard pile. For 1 turn when each of damage, shield, and heal has been activated through cards, remove unusable. Okay. So if you can deal damage, heal HP, and generate a shield, then you get this card. And this card basically just lets you search anywhere in hand, deck, or discard pile and just play a card without paying its cost, but then your turn ends. I don't know how I feel about that one. I don't really know if I like that card. I'm like, what could possibly be worth going for that you'd want to end your turn and go through all of that setup for it? I think they thought that they wanted this to be designed with 9. It's cool design, but I just don't see a payoff for it, right? I just don't see where I would, like, who I'm going to play this on, right? Yeah, yo, what's going on, Pokey Dude? All right. For some reason, let me see. Why can I not? All right, let me see. Nope, not that. For some reason, my my OBS is just kind of stuck. Like, it's pinned to my taskbar, and I cannot do anything with it. Just super, super annoying. Can't, like, move the window around at all. Should we skip 9 and save up for the seasonal character this season? They've already confirmed there is no limited character in Season 2. They specifically
Thankfully.
said... Yeah, it is specifically for something... When they say seasonal, they mean things like, you know, Christmas, Valentine's Day, summer, right? Things like that. Maybe Halloween. But the fact that they didn't do one, announce one now when 9 is out means that, like, a potential, like, Valentine's Day or Lunar New Year character is just off the table. So the next time you'll probably see a limited is in, like, Season 3.
I get that summer ban already, baby.
Yeah. Oh man, with some of these like backgrounds that they've been doing lately, man, I'm like scared for summer, bro. I'm scared for summer, dude.
It's
But
gonna be an interesting one, that's for damn
they're
sure.
gonna be like we're gonna try to rival Fate Grand Order here, where we hire Dojin artists to make our character designs. Okay, so let's see. What does Nutrient Absorption do? Select and exhaust one card in hand for each cost of that card. Decrease cost of one random card in hand by 1 turn. Huh.
This card is goated beyond belief. It is basically the new Forbidden as much as we wanted it to be, or the new Confiscation in terms of like seasonal relevance and how good it is. So, yeah, again, for those that are excited for 9 and whatnot, obviously this is just going to help make things for free. You're going to get to play cards for free. It is really just going to be the all-in. Let's throw a divine on this baby, and we are good to go.
Yeah, Nutrient Absorption is a very interesting one. I'd have to play around with this one and figure out like what the applications are, but like this could be really strong, especially if you're playing with high cost cards in your deck constantly, right? Like with 9, this card seems insane, right? Like you just eat Hue, you get it comes back immediately, and you just get to reduce costs of 3 cards. That's really strong, right? Yeah, eat mealtime from your deck, play whole hand. Yeah, that could work. Residual herb, retrieve 2, exhaust 3. 60% shield, incinerate, create a contaminated spore. So that's another like vulnerable thing.
Amir card, man, let's go, right? Trigger shield. Let's
that's
be
true.
hyped up for Amir. Like
Yeah, I mean, it's like
that's all I got. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's actually a better use than I was thinking. I was like, I don't think I'd play this on like Magna or Amir, but I think Amir is like the only character I would actually want to play this on because it's effectively a 0 cost attack in her deck, right? But Exhaust 3 feels kind of rough, right? It is what it is, right?
Well, it does have the retrieve built in, so it's like you do get to just spam this out the turn that you draw. You just have to hope that you have enough metalized to pay it off.
Yeah. 2 attack costs as far as hunger, 300% defense-based damage. Exhaust all exhaust cards in hand, then plus 25 damage amount for each. Not sure how I feel about that one. I think if you'd have to get like a bunch of, it's obviously meant to be used with contaminated hunger. That could be pretty good. Otherwise, I'm not sure. Wait, this one seems interesting. 6 cost, Forgotten Grave. Is it a reanimation spell? Probably not. Ignition, so it gets reduced every time you exhaust a card. Retain and exhaust. When cost of this card is decreased, plus 10% critical hit chance to this unit for 1 turn. So wait.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, to say the least.
Incinerate creates a contaminated spore. So
But-
it's like, it's a buff that you kind of like want to hold on to it as long as possible to get the most amount out of it. Oh, but it's crit chance? I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
I'm gonna double check really quick because I'm pretty sure this is the one that was like Hunter exclusive. So the one thing I hate that he didn't add into each one of these images, it doesn't have like what class they're associated with. So I had to go and recreate all of these images. Yeah, so this is Ranger Hunter to be very precise here. So that is where it gets a little bit more interesting, where it's like, yeah, the crit chance is cool and whatnot, but I think that combination might close it off from too many options.
No, Warbald's actually right. Forest Hunger with Charon sounds kind of fun. If he can play that card, it sounds really fun. Yeah, we have Pekko at home. Yeah, that's what Forgotten Grave is starting to feel like. I feel like it should give more than just crit chance.
Well, that's the thing, right? So you can't play with Charon unless you're giving it to specifically like a Veronica support. So like that's the awkward thing. And so because it states this unit, right, you are not going to get that to get Charon to battle up. And like Veronica already has what she wants to be doing. So it's just a really awkward situation that it finds itself in. Like you're getting the damage increase, which is nice, but the rest of it's like, okay.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. Someone was asking to see a Rin build. I don't have, obviously game's down, so I can't show you a Rin. And I don't actually have like any Rin resources like built. I just like recently started using the character. If I had to pick a build for her, like off the top of my head, it's 2-piece crit, 2-piece attack, 2-piece Seth Scarab, or 4-piece Conqueror's Aspect with 2-piece crit damage. Like those are pretty much the things you're going for. All right. Let's see. More season 2 cards. Nature's Gift, right? Heal 20% for each card in your hand. Harmonization. If the cost of this card and action points are identical, activates this card. So basically you get this for free, or actually you get this as like a bonus effect. Okay, so if you play Nature's Gift when you have exactly 1 AP, you create 1 contaminated spore for each card in your hand. Huh. Can Kairon use that? Because that might be very interesting. Cyborg Automaton. 5 cost attacks, 600% defense base damage. 1 insert, activate this card. Wait, what?
Yeah, it's just Giga 9 value, and that's kind of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so when you incinerate a card, wait, is it when you incinerate this card it activates? Or am I reading this wrong?
Yeah, it's when you exhaust that card, you're going to activate it for free. So it's a free 600%
okay.
defense-based attack with 9s cards.
Okay. Vine Lord, 0 cost skill, exhaust 3, draw 2, exhaust cards of this shit. Wait, Vine Lord on Ray
Yeah,
is
Vine Lord's insane.
Yeah, Vine Lord is actually really good. What the hell? Dude, Vine Lord is just good on Ray, so you could draw your snack times. It's good on Kairon. Draw some attacks, some futility. What's the most broken thing you can pull off of this? No, you can't get Forbidden Hunger. No. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if Vine Lord could grab Forbidden Hunger? Ooh.
Yeah, this is like, it's a really cool, this is the card I think I'm going to probably miss the most for like setup opportunities for what we're going to see in season 2. Obviously, it's very strong for, like, I just immediately think of Ray, like, fixing your hand, getting your snack times early so you can draw through the rest of your deck and make sure that you do all of your setup in turn 1 is going to be, like, giga setup turns. It'll be great. But other than that, it's like, man, there's kind of limited right now what we have for exhaust cards. But keep in mind, we are also then adding on all the exhaust cards from the set as well as future cards. So I have a good feeling that Vine Lord, by the time we get to the end of the season, now keep in mind, this is worth 50 points, so this is going to be a little bit more expensive. I think this will definitely find a home and be a really good card for what it wants to be doing in the right decks.
Oh, Rocket Punch. My girl Karina has made it into this game, apparently. Okay, so it's unusable. Retain, exhaust, 400% damage. Retain, plus 25% activation chance, and it's a 20. Oh. This card's hilarious. This card's hilarious. What the hell? I actually really like this card. This card's hilarious. What the hell? This card sounds so funny. Ooh, Vine Lord is 80 points. Chat's right.
No, isn't rares are 50, right? It's 20, 50, 80. 80 is for legendary.
Okay, is this the rainbow color thing? Is this no, like
rainbow is just monster. Denotion. It's the
Denotion
text,
monster.
the color of the text is what matters.
Okay, I got you. So yeah, it is 20. Rocket Punch is 20. Dude, Rocket Punch sounds so funny. Charge Strike, 100% defense-based damage, and plus 100% damage for each AP. Incinerate, activate this card. Whoa, Charge Strike also sounds badass. I like that card too. Heavy Blow, 200% damage for 0. Double the effect of Vulnerable. Wait, can Magda use that?
So one quick call out here I want to add too is like some of these cards are based on equipments that we get, and like Pierce, for example, comes from a gear that you get and it'll generate that card during the run. So some of these are going to be tied to the
new equipment.
They gave a special name for them, but I forget now off the top of my head.
Monster cards are definitely viable now, Jojo Bean. They definitely massively overhauled them. I would say that that's like one of the biggest changes overall on the patch. Yeah, no, honestly, these seem pretty sweet. I think
so these are all like extra bonuses that we'll get based on the gear. But someone in chat keep me honest in terms of what the hell that they were called. But I did see that when I was going through. They're tied to a very specific thing.
Mm-hmm. I think of all of these, I think I like Rocket Punch the most, even though it's not really that strong. I just think it's a funny ass card. Like, this is a card that I would make. I would design a card like Rocket Punch. I know myself. I'm just like, yeah, I would make that. I would 100% make that. Yeah. Remember my hot chocolate? All right, I'm gonna go grab that now. I guess I'll let Cosmic hold down the fort. I'll be right back.
All right, so I guess we'll definitely take some any questions then from either side, because once he gets his hot chocolate made, since it's gonna take a minute, I'm gonna do my own little. Actually, what time is it? How close are we getting? I might actually drop from the stream after that, so I can go take some setup time and get things going on my own side. But yeah, the other thing I'll mention, of course, he was controlling the stream, so I can't control it here. But the one thing I will mention is also keep in mind we are getting all the refinement effects as well, so you'll effectively get 2 times the equipment benefits in a slot, meaning like the agony sword that gives you a stack of agony when you're dealing an attack base damage, as well as the RFS, which was a 0-cost crit chance. Now in Season 2, you can combine both of those effects into a single equipment. So there is a lot to look forward to in terms of just like new supercharged effects that you can look forward to. Do I prefer beef or chicken ramen? I don't eat a lot of beef, so I will have to go with chicken on that one. Yeah, now we have Yuki in the background staring us down. Yeah, I think Orlea is definitely going to be one of the biggest winners from Season 2, just in terms of, obviously, the devs wanted to push her kit quite a bit, on top of the fact that she is going to be getting her corruption bonus in Season 3. So, you know, maybe I'll lose my 50-50 to Orlea or Rin later today, and I can finally use my selector on the other one. But we'll have to wait and see kind of what is available. But I think it's time, right? Like, let's give Orlea the time in the spotlight, because she largely got ignored all of Season 1, let's be honest. Yeah, and for a lot of us too, right? Like, we have the opportunity to use the redemption item on Cassius, which means we're going to have immediate resources for Orlea for upgrading. So that is a very compelling reason to reset Cassius.
Morning.
I think there's still some benefit to multi-hit. Like, right, I think if we're going to have an honest conversation around it, multi-hit was better than single hits all of Season 1. So single big hits definitely needed a buff. And when we think about Nine's extreme hue, or whatever that version is called, like, that is going to need a very big upgrade from vulnerable to do more damage. So I definitely think just because of 9, there is a little bit more of a focus on the vulnerable side of things, getting a nice buff. Later today, I will definitely be focusing myself on the more damage variations of 9, just because I do have a Vanguard team kind of good to go already. But I cannot wait to see what people put together, because, again, when stacking vulnerable and all the other buffs you can do, you're going to be having these attacks for Hugh that deal like 3,000% damage. If you get a crit on top of a 3,000% damage ability, you're going to be having some fun with the damage numbers that get provided. But for all the changes that we talked about, what is your favorite character to be playing to the chat? What is everyone most excited for buff-wise?
Also, Doom, thank you so much for the sub while I was gone. I did hear it.
Damn, bro, you got that. You speed ran that hot cocoa. I could not make it that fast.
Yep. Oh, it's just instant. You just have to basically you just microwave it. Yeah, it has to be made with like milk. So I just like poured milk in a mug and just like turbo nuked it.
All right, I'm gonna step away for a second myself, and I might go grab some more coffee and whatnot.
Yeah. More new gear. Let's go take a look. Chorizo. Everyone's saying chorizo. Let's go for the one other Renoa fan out there. Let's go. Yo, Yuki. I think, dude, really, there's so many Chizuru fans. Like, I do think she's going to be really strong. She's not going to be the first thing I reach for, that's for sure. Someone need help to help Sue to wail for Luxac or Leia. I know. I wish I had it. Harder, yeah. You guys already know what the first thing we're playing is. We're playing Magna. We're playing Magna. That's the first thing we're playing. Servers are up at 3, yeah. We're just chilling, waiting. Do you know our pull income? No, no, I don't. It's super weird because SG is super generous and they give out a lot of stuff constantly, so you can never really predict pull income. This isn't like a Hoyo game or Wuthering Waves where it's pretty mapped out and by the numbers. Like, to use the Black Panther meme, we don't do that here. We don't do that here. Super creative games are not like that. Yeah, the answer is enough. All right, so let's see. Veiled Thorn is actually a weapon. If allies do not receive damage for one turn, then at the start of the next turn, increase damage amount by 50% for what? Wait, that's insane for Vanguards. Phytotype Synthetic. When shield is gained, increased damage amount of the next one attack card activated by 20% for one turn. What? Alright, that's also good. Leaf of the World Tree. When 3 cards or 2 cost card are higher, stockpile 1? Or stockpile? This one feels a little bit weak. Luminescent Shroom. Double the effect of spore propagation on the 6th attack card created for one turn. Oh, so this is actually cool. This is a payoff for the spore deck. I actually think this is sick. Yo, I think that this season is gonna be all about Rin the Mushroom Lady. We might have to build Rin the Mushroom Lady. That's what this is starting to sound like. And Tressa is still usable. I'm actually down for her having more diverse builds instead of just heal the heal daggers. Yeah. Vine Camouflage at the start of the turn if health is 30% or less. 1 evade. I do not like this one. That's too situational. Moss Armor. When an ally attack card was not activated for 1 turn and the turn is ended, gain a shield. That's actually not bad at all. That's actually a really easy condition to get that shield. Plant Doll. When 4 skill cards are exhausted, decrease stress of a random ally by 1. That one I don't think is particularly great either. Harp of Conflict. Dude, that's a badass name. Badass looking harp. Alright. Keep an eye on my time chat. For some reason, I can't see my taskbar to see what time it is. Okay, we have 15 minutes, give or take.
All right.
15 minutes. All right, sounds good. For 1 turn, when each of damage, shield, and heal has been activated through cards by allies, increase damage of allies. I actually think this is pretty good for a support. This is actually really strong for a support. Harp of Conflict. Yeah, I think I would play this on most controllers. I think this is really good. We're just looking at the gear. I don't know if you've looked at all of this stuff.
Yep, I'm gonna. Oh, why do I not have? I was trying to just DM you the screenshot that I have of everything.
Oh, okay. Victor's Laurel. Let's see. Let me see where it is.
Nope, never mind. It's not letting me open this.
Increase damage amount of counterattack by 40%. Let's go! What the hell?
Yeah, this is this was definitely the one that I was excited about for some of the other changes, because there was like the batch like, hey, these are all based on the exhaust stuff, and this one was like, hey, by the way, here's also this massive boost for counterattack. Like, we are automatically taking this, right, for the characters that want it.
Yeah, well, somebody's asking, will I try Haru? Probably not tonight. Tomorrow I might consider it. Right? For tonight, I would like to focus on 9 and Magna, and then tomorrow it'll probably be more 9 and some other characters, like maybe Renoa or Ren, for example. Yeah, this is really good for Magna.
I complained about having not a good chest option other than like the mythics for our tanks. So very happy to see we got some good gear options for Vanguards in the Vanguard season. So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Combat Drum. When 5 skill cards are created, increase damage amount of the next ally card activated by 20%. Max 1 stack. This is definitely another one of those like payoffs for the mushroom deck. Gladiator's Medallion. When shield is getting 3 or more 3 times through cards, 100% fixed damage to all enemies. Well, it's not a Magna equipment, I'll tell you that. It's not Amir and it's not 9. So this is like,
Yay, Kalipe.
yeah, this is like, it's like
Just Vulture Ejection, right?
it's just Kalipe, yeah. That's just a Kalipe card. Rage Potion. When 4 attack cards are activated, increase damage on the next attack card activated by 40%. Holy, bro. Like, this is, like, so good for any character that spams. Like, Luke can use this, right? Because you just use the 4 attack cards to unlock his like, unusable card. And then just be like, okay, cool. 0 cost attack for huge damage. Yeah, Serenio could use it also. You could go like 4 lasers and then Cobalt Light. Yeah, I think Rage Potion is super usable. Create 1 Pierce each odd turn. So that was the the card we saw earlier. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that a lot.
So the biggest part about this, because it really sucks as just a blue option, right? You're always going to replace it, excuse me. But the thing to keep in mind this season, you can get this effect geared onto any, or sorry, upgraded onto any gear weapon that you might have. That's where like that whole combining aspect comes together. So getting this as a free buff for whatever mythic weapon slot you have is going to be huge. So that is what I'm really excited to see and how it plays out in season 2.
So then that means that, yeah, getting the 0 cost, like the shield bash that we saw, it's like a 0 cost, 100% defense AoE attack with exhaust. If you could get that added to like any Vanguard's kit, that's massive.
Yep.
That's a huge deal. Servers are up in like, what, 10 minutes? 10 minutes, yeah. Shield of Ashen Sacrifice. If damage is completely blocked at the start of the next turn, create 1 shield. There it is!
Yeah, that's
that's what I was looking for. Wait, this is insane. If you could get this grafted onto the counter crown, that's just nuts.
Yeah, so this is where like the real RNG is going to come down, of like the actual god builds in season 2 are going to be mind-blowingly good by comparison.
Yeah, increased damage amount of 2 cost or higher exhaust cards by 40%. I mean, that's obviously a 9 card.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a 9 card. Like, that just screams, play me in 9. Liberated Essence at the start of the turn. Decreased cost of 1 random exhaust card in hand by 1 for 1 turn. This is strong but niche, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely like, it's a mythic. That's got to be, it's probably not worth a mythic cap.
Oh, okay. Well, they don't have
Oh,
the...
yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
The blank text one for this killed me.
Yeah.
By what's the percent? Tell me what's the percent, Smilegate.
Yeah,
Where's the percent?
Yeah, I don't know. That could be good. Robe of Oblivion. That sounds so ominous. But why does it look like a Kingdom Hearts, like, heartless robe? When shield is gained through an exhaust card, increase damage amount by 20% for... Wait, this is insane on Amir. With that 0 cost shield we were looking at that has exhaust retain, or retrieve exhaust or whatever. Wait. Oh man, you do it like 1 time, get the buff, and then use it next time? This has got retrieve? Okay, this could be something. Vine Lord's Mask. When drawing an exhaust card through an ally ability, gain a fixed shield. This could also be very good. I think this is good on 9, honestly. I think it's a pretty solid option for her. PCL amount by 25%. Can't say that's bad. It's like, that's solid.
This one was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, have I cared about healing yet? And I might just be too Vanguard pilled. But I saw that one. I was just like, sure, I guess. Like, I maybe a healing focus is good enough to get that as an option.
The game is still currently under maintenance. Oh, all right. Well, we have 7 minutes to go. I don't know if you were trying to bounce out and go over to your stream, get your stuff situated on your side.
Yeah, that is what I'm literally pulling up in the background. So I probably will hang out for like 2 more minutes, and then I'm gonna have to bounce after I get all
right.
this set up.
No problemo. All right. But yeah, dude, thanks for joining me, homie. Appreciate it. We'll have to do this again in 3 weeks for what's it? Tefera is the next character. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Do we have confirmed that she's next, or is it? I don't think I've seen. I know she's on like the one of the 3, right? But I don't think they confirmed order. Did they?
I think she is the second one. I think they confirmed that she's the second one.
Hell yeah.
So that would be pretty good. But yeah, no, I mean, this was a fun experiment. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
Hopefully
yeah.
guys
Thank you for
enjoy.
having me, and for everyone else, I hope you enjoyed this stream. Make sure to stick around for Sue's poll. Hopefully, he does well. And again, we're both gonna be doing a lot of 9 testing in the following, days, weeks, what have you. But the last thing I'll close with for all of our new players who might be joining us, welcome to Chaos Zero Nightmare. You are joining at the best time, and for all the veterans out there, like definitely go back, explore some characters that you might be ignored in season 1. This is basically a brand new game for how much is changing. So there is a lot to learn. Of course, Sue and myself will be doing a ton of guides and all that stuff in the future. So I hope you'll join us for the journey. It's been fun. And again, Sue, thank you so much for having me on today.
No problem, homie. Yeah, make sure you guys follow Cosmic. I already just shout out for him if you're on Twitch, right? So it should just be up there right now as a notification. If you're on YouTube, you could find him at Cosmic Plays Gotcha, right? It should be tagged in the description of the actual stream, so you can very easily find it there. But yeah, no, thank you, homie. Appreciate it. Now I just got to sit here and mash refresh until I get into the server. Let me in!
Yep. Have a good one, everybody.
All right, later. All right. Let me change that. And while I'm here, you can look over kindly at this E7 screen. Patch has been implemented. Oh, snap. All right. For those of you guys on the YouTube side of things, I am going to actually end the stream for you guys, right? Which sounds kind of strange, but it will automatically redirect you to the 9 stream in a second. So I'll see you guys basically in just a second here, right? It should automatically forward you to the next stream. All right. If not, you can just go to the live tab and find it there. I'll see you guys there in just a moment. All right. All right.